All right. I have started the live stream. So, we're going to do it live. CoCoTALK episode 58 will be live on the air in 3, 2.
Hey everybody, this is Bill Noble, co-author of Nitrous 9. You are listening to CoCoTALK Live, the leading live CoCoTALK show.
This is Dale Leader, designer of TRS-80 Color Baseball, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
This is CoCoTALK, the nation's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy color computer, with your host, Mr. Gameplay Goodness himself, SockMaster.
All right, everybody, we are live and we are on the air, and welcome to CoCoTALK episode 58. We are here, and we got a great panel with us. We've got a correspondent on with us, and Jim Brain saying that he thinks I might have forgotten to update the bug, but shame on you, it's there, dude, bro. The bug is updated, and I think I am now experiencing the same problem that Grant Leighty had a couple of weeks ago, and because I noticed that the volume is now lower. You guys noticing that? The bumper's lower, the music's lower. Grant had the same problem.
Yep.
I just got the frickin' Windows 10 April update, and so now my frickin' sound mixer is screwed up. Thank you, Microsoft, right?
Windows 10 now quieter.
Yes, now quieter, right? So I'm hoping that our microphones are hopefully loud enough, and our voices are loud enough, but it is what it is. We'll do it live, and we'll take it. And so, hearing a little squelch and feedback there. CQ. Jason, you got a copy on us?
I do. I have a very unresponsive mute button here on my phone on Skype.
All right, very good. All right, so let's see who we've got in the panel here today. On the show, we have with us from down under, Australia, Mr. Nick Marentes is on the program. Good day, Nick.
Hello, good day, everyone.
Welcome,
Hello.
welcome. We have our resident Apple guy, and we still let him come back. Mark Overholser's here.
Thank you very much.
Visiting us from Hamvention, Jason the CoCoMAN is here, maker of the Switcheroo.
How you doing?
We're doing good. Creator of the CoCo VGA project, we have Brendan Donahe in the house. Hey, Brendan, thanks for being here.
Howdy.
And we have from the land of the fedora hats, we've got Mr. James Diffendaffer here with us. Cue the crickets. And from the Great White North, Mr. L. Curtis Boyle's here. How's it going?
Hello, everyone.
And last but certainly not least, the Timberman himself, Ron Delvaux. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
All right, good.
Me.
Hey, James Diffendaffer, how are you? So, the cool thing about today's show is, hopefully, if we don't have any other technical glitches, we're going to simulcast on CoCo TV in about an hour. So, we've been talking with Roger Taylor. For those of you who don't know Roger Taylor, he has the Matchbox CoCo project and the Mr. CoCo project, and he's got a Roku channel called CoCo TV. He's got software development tools. He's got programs he's written. The guy's all over the place, right? And done a lot of cool stuff. And he's figured out a way where I can simulcast a stream to a service that he has that will then, send it over to Roku. And we've done a test, and it seemed to work last night. So we're hoping this simulcast test will work today. And if it does work, we'll probably be live every week in 2 places. That mute button works great, Jason. I'd like to order a number 12 large orange soda. the challenges with doing a live remote. So, so hopefully if this goes well, starting next week, we'll be live on YouTube and live on Roku at the same time. So that's kind of cool, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
More ways to get the show, the more ways for the CoCo to get out there and for people to find out about the CoCo and the projects and the community. And one of the things that Roger actually suggested is he says that sometimes when he watches the replay, like later in the day, it's hard to tell if it's live or not because you see the chat going on. And now in YouTube also does the live chat replay. So what I've added to this right now is I've got a real-time clock here. So if you're not only do I have the date on here, but we now also have the time. So if you watch the show later on, you're going to know if it's live or not. Unfortunately, I can't have a "this is not live" embed itself in the video later on.
You might have to put EST on there, though, because some people watching different times will go, well, that's live, because that's right now. So
very true. It's 2 o'clock somewhere, right? So, anyways. But, yeah, so that's that. So that's going to be the main thrust of this week's show is that hopefully we'll have a successful launch to CoCo TV on Roku, and Ron Delvaux has got it up there for us, so he'll be able to see. I didn't bring a bottle of champagne to pop open if it worked for the successful launch, but we'll have to do that next week.
Now, is this something you'll be able to control? Like it'll just become automatic after this episode, or is that something Roger has to set up manually?
The logistics are still work in progress, but yeah, theoretically it should be auto magic, where just when I stream, it'll stream everywhere. So, but yeah, so stay tuned, kids. In the live chat, who do we have here today? We have Retro Innovations critiquing on my spelling.
Mark he owes us all $10 because you had the bug right today, so that's good. I'm richer now, so thanks.
All right, Mark Siegel says hi. Hey, Mark, how are you? Paul Fiscarelli says hi, everyone. Hey, Paul. Ken Make It says he just received my CoCo SDC just now. Tim Franklin says hello, folks. Disney Saints fan is out there saying hello all, and then finally Tim says, hey, where's the wedding video? Hey, there's Grant Leighty, there's Greg. All right, hey Grant, how are you? Welcome to you,
hey, you got your CoCo
Grant. All right, so we're here. Do we have any project updates that you guys want to share today? Don't all speak at once, but anybody.
I'm still working on G-Shell, but I found some bugs from some code I changed, mainly because it's a disassembled C program I'm trying to redo in pure assembly. So it's doing a bunch of stack stuff that's multi-levels deep. And I also think I found a bug that might be in the original multi-view. I have to actually pull out the disk to see if that was a bug, to see if I can fix it. And work is progressing slowly. I had a fair bit of work this week, so I didn't get too much on it done. So not much of an update.
There you go. CoCoMAN's got an update for us. He's at Hamvention. What's it like over there at Hamvention, CoCoMAN?
On and off rain, and just a little muggy at the moment. Sun's come out again. And I don't even know which way my camera's facing, if it's facing at all.
Yeah, we see a dirt road right now. Now we see
okay.
Rob Inman says hiya.
Okay, interesting. Hiya, huh?
Hey, Rob. All right, well, that's cool. We'll get back to you on that. That's right. What about switcheroo updates? How's that going with orders and shipping on that?
Going very well. Quite a much larger response than I ever anticipated. So I'm going to be I am very busy, and we'll be very busy when I get back.
Okay. Well, that's a good problem to have. It's great that it's a runaway success.
So you're going to be able to retire on your CoCo proceeds?
He's got CoCo hardware project.
I didn't catch that.
I'm just wondering if you're making enough on the Switch to be able to retire.
No, but I'm gonna get the medium-sized Wendy's next time.
You're moving up to a medium-sized fry, huh? Moving up in the world.
Yeah. Maybe if it continues, maybe I'll get a Frosty too. Yeah.
Aim high.
Tens of cents.
Brendan Donahe, anything new and exciting on the CoCo VGA front?
I've been doing a couple of installs for people this past week and shipping out systems. Actually, interestingly enough, one of the people that wants me to do an installation for him had the eBay seller they were working with ship directly to me, but so they wrapped it in wrapping paper. This is a Tano Dragon box that I have yet to open.
Okay.
And it's in terrible shape. It really mangled. Lots of received in damaged condition tape all over it. So,
wow.
So anyway,
somebody sent that to you like that?
Yeah, exactly. This is the way I received it from the post office.
Wow.
So,
obviously not. Obviously, you didn't take a lot of care to pack it properly in the first place, huh?
Yeah, I'm guessing that the shipper was not a retro machine lover or anything like that. So,
wow.
Anyway, I'll be unboxing that later and seeing if it works.
Yeah, you might be having to get your jigsaw puzzle skills out, putting Humpty Dumpty back together again. There, it looks like.
That's right. That's right.
There's a lot of foam around the dragon in those boxes, so it's probably okay. But the box is probably beat to heck.
Well, there's actually no foam.
There isn't?
I can see inside the box, and it's squishy.
Oh no! So, they just threw it in the box.
Well, there's bubble wrap around it, I believe. But,
bubble wrap.
We'll just have to see.
Yeah, that bubble wrap will stop a bullet. You got nothing to worry about.
A Nerf bullet, but still.
Yes. Nick Marentes, any updates on your sound player or Gunstar that you can share with us?
Cricket mute.
Anyone?
Bueller.
Nick,
okay, I'm back, everyone. Yep. The music player is now making noises. It's not at a stage where it'll play a tune. It's set to play just one voice at the moment, but I've got to add the other 3 voices and then get the music sequencer. So I'll hopefully have something for next week.
Excellent.
So that's all I've had. I've had a busy week as well.
Excellent. So, Jason, your brother Ken's been in here. He says, Jason, live from Mudvention. And then he says, Jason can't hear at an amateur radio convention. #irony. So, yeah, that is sad news for the Dragon that it got shipped like that. But I'm getting a lot more interested in that CoCo VGA project. I was actually thinking the same thing, that maybe one day I would just order a CoCo 2 and have it sent to you and coordinate that with you one day when I'm ready to get one.
Sure.
Not there yet.
Just let me know.
But yeah, I'll make sure that when I order it, that I request they ship it properly.
Yeah, right.
Don't be a nudnik, right?
Brendan's doing a box opening so we can have
there you go. Yeah, we're going to actually see live on the air what actually happened to this dragon.
The dragon birthing.
It may take me a while to get through all this tape.
That's all right. We got 2 hours.
That's right.
Yes. All right. So let's do it real quick. I want to show you guys something. I've updated this here, but we're going to switch over to our sponsor page real quick, and then I'm not sure how well the music's going to come through here. Okay, hit the wrong button, but that's okay. Yes. All right, so we've updated our sponsor page here and managed to squeeze in a few more things here. It's hard to believe as it is, but CoCoTALK is brought to you by several of our sponsors and community contributors, such as the CoCo VGA project at CoCoVGA.com, Boyson Technology, Richard Lorbieski, maker of the Boomerang memory board, the Paragon joypad adapter, and the CoCo SCART adapter at BoysonTech.com, Retro Innovations, creator of fine quality retro gear for all types of systems like the TI, the Commodore, and the CoCo. Go to go4 CoCoFOREVER.com. Let's not forget the SD Pack project, SDPack.com. And who could forget the hottest selling CoCo hardware project in the history of Tandy itself, but the Switch-a-Roo RGB to SHART cable. The only one in the world that lets you switch from composite to RGB with the flip of a switch. And as we've mentioned, we are now on CoCo TV on Roku, so check us out there. Get all your merchandise at our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. I'm a coconut.com for all your color computer needs. All things color computer and CoCoTalk available on our website, cocotalk.live. Don't forget the CoCo Crew, the podcast that reinvigorated the community and inspired us all to be better people at cococrew.org. And last but not least, the creator of our best of episodes and lots of great bonus content for the show, Extruct Us Productions at fd501.com. So there are our sponsors, and we are back. Ken says, flip it and forget it. It's like a Ron Popeil thing here, right? So with the flip of a switch, right? And I'm waiting for one that's hooked up to the clapper. I want the RGB composite, the clapper. So we'll get there.
Actually, Stevie, what you need is one that on games goes level 1, level 2.
Yes. Curtis made a funny. Let the record show. Mark the calendar.
With a head cold, I might add.
Yeah, I got one too. Yeah, so I'm getting over a major sinus infection I've had this week. So yeah, I'm very stuffy and nasally as well.
Also, because I don't know if you're watching the Skype chat, but Jason, Mark is saying that he'd be interested in those basic manuals for $3 each if you can get it for him.
Ah, there you go.
Because I don't know if he can read Skype on his phone.
Okay, there you go, Jason. We got some orders going on there. So some transactions are taking place here. Deals are being made. This is how it works in the fast-paced world of retro. We got 14 people watching us live right now. We've been at this now for 16 minutes. Our main topic today is that the CoCo TV is going to be live on Roku. There we go. Here is here's the dragon. How's it looking?
Doesn't look too bad.
It looks like it's in one piece.
Okay.
So it looks promising. I'll have to see. I understand that there's supposed to be a power supply in this box and some other things too. So I'll have to hook it up and see if it works.
Looks like a C64 brick.
Yes, it does. Yeah. I have a couple of those for my dragons.
And you mean the C64 itself is a brick? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that too.
And James, I don't know if I cut you off earlier when you finally came back on, but welcome to the program, James Diffendaffer number 1. Welcome to the program, sir.
I'm just working on a 6303 emulation on the MC10 for the multi-arcade machine emulator.
Neat. So that is the Hitachi CPU replacement for the MC10.
Right. It's Hitachi. I think that might be the first series that they micro-coded and pipelined in the whole 9 yards, where the 6309 came from.
Okay.
So right now I'd hope to have a video for you so you could see the difference, but I killed my main build last night by accident, and now I'm having to build it from scratch, and that takes hours. So sorry.
That's quite all right. All right, well, I do have, if you guys want to see this, I'm not sure if it's interesting or exciting, but I do have a little bit of a project update, which I haven't made an official video for, but I've made some progress on my Cosmic Aliens project for the CoCo port, and I do have MAME loaded up. Is anybody interested in seeing where I was last to where I am today?
Not at all. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Can we get past level 1? Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, so...
Level 1 never ends.
The last thing I showed off was version 4. And so in version 4, I got as far as... Now, what you're seeing here is these are all the images being loaded. I used a graphic editing tool that Paul Thayer gave me to create the pixel art. I then just kind of visually showed how I was getting everything into buffer, so I was marking those off. And then in my first kind of working demo, what I did is I have 8 different spaceships I've designed, and I went ahead and got all 8 different spaceships on screen, and I can move my ship left and right with the joystick, and you can basically just see that there's 8 different ships. How I'm going to use these, like as you go through waves, maybe the style will change. I'm not sure. But as a proof of concept, I wanted to show that they could all be on screen at once. And as you can see here, it's very slow. It's in basic, and I'm moving 8 objects at once. So there was that. Once I got to that point, I said, well, I need fonts now. I need to be able to put stuff on the screen. So that led me down a rabbit hole where I had to start getting some fonts. So the first, doing fonts in BASIC, or at least how I'm doing fonts, is using the draw command, which I've done on my basic programming series. I've shown how I use the draw command and how I even came up with fonts. And so this was a little bit of a pain in the ass to kind of get everything to work out right. But I ended up, I had to design fonts very small to fit in this very low resolution screen. They're actually 3 by 5 pixels with 1 pixel space between them. But in this resolution, every pixel is actually 2 pixels wide and 2 pixels tall, so they're really big. It's very fat pixels. Fat pixels need love too. So here's all my fonts, and here's a little routine just showing that I can render text on the screen. All right, so that had to be done, and a lot of tweaking had to be done to get the spacing to line up properly, because they would start to drift and slide over time, and it was falling apart. So I got all that fixed. So then what I ended up with now is, if I load, and this is where I put everything together. Version 5 of Aliens right now has the fonts baked into it, has the ability for me to move left and right, and I can now also fire a laser. And in order to speed it up a little bit, I've toned it down. Instead of having 8 objects on the screen at once, I'm only animating 4 objects right now. But what we'll see here in just a second is... Dun, 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 dun. Here we go. So now we've got 4 aliens, and of course, if they are kind of wrapping over each other, there's no masking or anything right now. Just trying to be real efficient here. So here I can move left and right. I got 4 aliens. I've got fonts on the screen, and if I press the fire button, I can shoot a shot, and that shot goes up in the air, and boom, no collision detection yet. Next thing I'm going to do is add the dropping of the bombs, and then work on figuring out how to do collision detection in a semi-efficient way. And no high-speed poke here right now, so this is running, believe it or not, this is running at bare metal speed in BASIC. Hard to believe,
0.895
right?
megahertz.
So there are hopefully some efficiencies to be found over time. But there you have it. That's some work I've done, and technically that's a world premiere of the latest on my project. So Tim Franklin says, sweet. Okay, well let's start with the douchey marks here. So Grant Leighty, oh my god, Steve, boring game that has flying lions. Tim Franklin says, sweet. Mark Overholser says, and butterflies. And then Mark Johnson says, great job, Steve. And Grant says, looks good. Mark Johnson, this game will be great in a machine language. Why don't you compile it with C BASIC? Well, that's a great question, and that's probably one of the next things that I'm going to want to do is find a compiler. I forgot somebody was mentioning it. Maybe it was James. I don't know if it was you who was telling me about a compiler. But that will be, we'll get there. I think right now I just want to write it, and part of it's just the challenge of the, coming up with the creative challenge to make the game and make it work, and then you can overcome things like speed, hopefully with time. But there we go. Cool. So, all right, how about we take a quick commercial break here, and we'll be back in just a minute after a word from our sponsors, and then hopefully we'll have something else to talk about. All right, what's the topic today? All right, well, we'll be back in just a moment, folks.
Hi, it's Chris Boyle, part of the CoCoTALK crew of people, and a lot of us are here down at the CoCo Fest, having a great time. It's the second day, and we're just about done, so you guys have to come out next year.
I'm too sexy for my love, too sexy for my love, love's going to leave me. it hurts. And I'm too sexy for Milan, too sexy for Milan, New York and Japan. And I'm too sexy for your
David Ladd. That's an Extructus production right there, folks.
Nice.
My fellow Americans, Australians, Canadians, Europeans.
And this is a really bad Bill Clinton impersonation.
I'm calling on all y'all to help us make the world great.
We love it anyway.
In the Retro Swag Shop at 8bit256.com, where you can get yourself a coffee mug like this with a little cute cartoon character that says I'm a Coco Nut. You could also get yourself a coffee mug like this with a Color Computer 3 that says I'm a Coco Nut. You could get yourself a deluxe travel mug like this.
I did not interface with that computer.
You might even be able to get yourself a DVD like this with over 2 hours of gameplay goodness. It is time.
I didn't inhale either.
Hey Mark, take a look at that.
And let's make the world great for the color computer. Thank you very much.
Hey everybody, this is Bill Noble, co-author of Nitrous 9. You are listening to CoCoTALK Live, the leading live Coco Talk show.
Alright, well, we're back after some... Grant says I need to do a Trump impersonation. Yeah, that's going to happen. Alright. So Tim Franklin says an idea for the sound: hit one bug, have it sound like Yanny, and have the other one sounds like Coco. Yeah, that's been going around the social media this week, huh? Will CoCoTALK be covering the royal wedding? Yes, we are going to cover the royal wedding. We got
it's global news.
Yeah, Jason, you need to hop on a jet real quick and get off of this Mudvention and get over there to the land of Lilliputian or whatever hell they're at there.
Stick a Coco in Windsor Castle.
Grant says I've got small hands, right? I have baby hands. Is that what you're telling me, Grant? Is that what it's needed? So how's it looking there? How's the patient, Brendan? Is the patient going to make it?
Yeah, it seems to work fine. I haven't listened to audio, but it boots up. So
okay.
I'm gonna void my warranty. And, void this guy's warranty and look at the inside to make sure everything is in place. I probably should have done before I turned it on, but you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, as the screw turns, we will. We're on the edge of our seat. This is live surgery here, folks. This is. We are watching this. This is it's what Grant went through about a week ago too. So he had his.
Yeah. Does the patient have anesthetic? That's my question.
Well, it's unplugged. That's as close as I get.
Yeah.
Oh, darn.
There you go.
I thought you would show us what 110 electric looks like on a.
Going through me.
Yeah.
Did you have that? you have that certified DNR where it says don't pull the plug, don't keep me on life support.
Oh yeah, certified DNR. Yeah, I got the DNR waiver from the buyer. So yeah, looks like it survived. Yay!
Yeah, look at
they
that.
Painted the inside of the thing with RF stuff, huh?
That's exactly right. So it's kind of cool. It's like a flat dark gray.
Does it smell?
They did the same thing with the Apple IIs.
It smells like fresh electronics on the inside, which is my favorite smell.
It's not filled with ants like Simon Jonassen's C64.
Oh wow! Did you see that?
Oh,
I should have. Jeez. Yeah, we should have pulled up that one.
That was definitely a debugging job.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some spider webs, but yeah, nothing severe. Pretty clean.
Very, very cool. Well, let's. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to ask Brendan. Are you going to put a CoCo VGA into that?
Yeah, that's actually why this guy had his eBay seller shipped directly to me. Is because in the Tano Dragon it requires desoldering the 6847, and he didn't want to do that himself. So I'll go ahead and desolder it and replace it with a socket, and then install CoCo VGA. And ask him if he wants me to install the button board and everything, and then I'll ship it to him.
Cool. Okay, so this wasn't the original owner who sent it to you. He bought this online, and the person he bought it from did this crap ship job.
Exactly.
Okay, well that a little better, right? Because you got to think the original owner, if they did this, man, what the hell were they thinking? Okay, yeah. It still doesn't make it any better, but yeah,
right.
Bummer. So what was I going to show off? So something else kind of interesting happened this week. Well, right now our audio downloads, because as you know, CoCoTALK starts off first as a live video talk show, and then it becomes a podcast. Well, earlier this week, we reached 6809 downloads, which I thought was kind of cool. I was actually able to get a screenshot on it when it happened, because you never know when these downloads are going to happen. So I was very lucky to catch that moment when it happened. I screenshotted that and I put it on the CoCoTALK Facebook page and the CoCoTALK Instagram, so that picture's out there. We are now at 6889, so we're almost at 6,900, which means we're very close to 7,000 downloads, which is kind of cool that the audio version is being enjoyed by people. So that is kind of cool. So I definitely want to thank everybody who not only watches every week, but who who also listens. But where's my full screen? And I also want to give Grant some credit and some crap all at the same time here. But the show that Greg hosted a couple of weeks ago right now has 207 views. And so while that's been out there for 2 weeks, he did reach 200 views within the first week, which is a good target. Whereas the show that I hosted last week only now has about 158 views. So all I can say is I am sucking on Greg's tailpipe right now. He is in the fast lane. I'm behind him, and I am just not worthy. I'm not worthy, Greg. You are the man. The throne and the mantle has been passed, and Grant Leighty is the show. He makes the show. So there you have it. So I want to give credit where credit is due. What else is going on, guys? I do have some news articles to talk about, but I don't know if you guys got anything y'all wanted to speak about before I bring up some of the news goodies I've compiled.
I haven't had time to do much CoCo stuff, even checking news articles, so I'll have to bow to you on that one.
All right. And how are we doing on time? It's 2:35, so we've got a while. We're not going to be going live on Roku till 3, so we can probably get through the news before we get to the Roku launch. So, what's Grant say? Mark Overholser says, "Hey Grant, take the credits when you're offered it." Right? Yeah, I give credit where it is due, and the credit is due. And so, yeah, now we've got to figure out what the hell is it with the Windows update that's just killing the sound, and leave it to Microsoft to completely break something that wasn't broken. So, yeah, we got some news this week, and I will show you one of the things that I came across. And let me go back. I've got so much stuff on my live thing right now. But I came across this in one of the retro groups I'm a member of. I don't exactly remember where I found this, but I'm going to show it to you. And by the way, everything I'm going to show you right now, the links to these things, they're already in the description to this live broadcast. So you can see these and you can pull these up on your own. But this is a YouTube channel by somebody called Computerphile. And this person posted a video. I'm assuming this is like a vintage computing museum or something. And he's starting to talk about the TRS-80. And I'm not saying this to make fun of this person or call him out or anything. I just think some of the things one of the comments was kind of funny. You'll hear here in just a second. So let's play that, and you'll hear what Willis is talking about here.
So this machine here is the Tandy Radio Shack. Well, I should say Radio Shack, really. Not us. We had Tandy. America had Radio Shack. So this is a Radio Shack TRS-80, or as some very rude people say, the Trash 80.
Where's the 80 come from? Is that the processor?
I'm not entirely sure. It might be just 80 characters across the screen, actually, probably.
That's the part I thought was funny. The guy goes, "Where does the 80 come from? Is that the processor?" He goes, "No, I'm not sure. It might be the 80 columns on the screen." It didn't even have 80 columns. What did the TRS-80 have? 32 originally, or did it have a 64 on the Model 1?
64.
It did have 64. Okay. So I just thought that was funny. Now, listen, not everybody knows everything about everything, but I just thought that was interesting. And I'm sure it gets on to be...
But yeah, it was a good machine.
Christ, we're in the airport now. Yeah, we can't. Okay, so my volume is all screwed up with Windows 10, and now Jason's volume is kicking in. So anyways, there'll be a link to that if you want to see that video. I just thought that was funny. I'm not making fun of the guy. He didn't know, but he's still talking about the machine with love. He's showing off a TRS-80 machine. So we'll give him props for that. Now, here's another one I found, too. This is in a group I'm in that's called Retro Machines. Now, this guy found a website that's still out there that's called BitView. And this is and the reason why he mentioned this, because he goes, this is kind of what YouTube was like around 2005, 2006. So this old website's still out there. It's kind of like, I guess, finding your old MySpace profile or something like that. This is kind of like another website that looks and acts like YouTube used to be, 12 years ago, and it's still on the web, and there's still some old content out there. Now, unfortunately, I don't know the link to it, to the actual BitView website, but a link to this posting in the Retro Machines Facebook group is in the description of this video. Is anybody familiar with this BitView, or does anybody remember this website? I don't even remember it.
No.
But I thought that was interesting. It's not necessarily a CoCo project, but it could be. Another cool announcement that came out this week was Neil Blanchard talking about how his BBS is now back online, and it is called Internal Affairs. And it's kind of an interesting story, similar to me finding my old Cosmic Aliens for the Tandy 1000, finding some source code. He found his original BBS and his backups, and he got it online, and you can get to it through Telnet. You can get to it through a browser. We'll probably have Ron Delvaux show it off here in just a second. But so this is a link to the posting where Neil announced this on Facebook. There's a link to that. There's also a link to you can pull up the website in a browser, and so you can sign into your website, and it's kind of small to see here in the web browser, but it works. And so what I'm probably going to do is get a Telnet client on my PC to connect to it. I don't have the ability to get, I guess maybe through DriveWire. I could possibly get my CoCo on, but for the time being, I'll probably just do it on a PC. But it looks cool. I played with it a little bit. A lot of talk about BBSs now, and so this is one that's in the CoCo family. It's being hosted by Neil Blanchard. We'll get to you in a minute, Ron. I'll just go ahead and get through all the news here. But has anybody else joined or connected to the Internal Affairs BBS yet?
I haven't had a chance yet.
Yeah,
I signed up.
Okay, Marco's on there. My handle on there is ogStevieStrow. The same thing I use for everything. So if you find me, there's supposed to be a whole bunch of online things you can do. There's an adventure game that you can play together online. So that's kind of cool. Another news article, and again, I'm not doing this to call people out and to make fun of them, but part of it is when somebody's talking about a Tandy product, I kind of want to do it. But I came across this podcast. They're called Fork Bomb, Technology and Other Nerdy Retro Stuff. They had done a two-part discussion on the TRS-80 line. So the first part was, I guess, the Z80 machines, Z80, and then they did about an hour talking about the CoCo, and it was a decent podcast. But for us, our purists and us loyalists, we're gonna find things that, oh my God, they didn't know this or they didn't get that right, and it just kind of bothers us. It doesn't mean they're bad people. It doesn't, anything else like that. It's just those little things. I just kind of like nails on a chalkboard for me. But it was a good listen. It's always nice to hear somebody talk about the CoCo, and I would recommend you listen to it and check them out. There's a link to it in there. But the one thing that, again, I'll point out, like the one guy who says, why is it called a TRS-80? He goes, well, maybe because it's 80 columns. These guys were talking about the CoCo 1 with 4K, and they didn't quite understand it, but they're like, well, the basic needed 8K, and if you only had 4K, then you couldn't run basic, so what could you do with the computer? I could see how you could not quite get how those dots connect, but it's the little things like that to me that when I hear it, it's like, it's like, oh, I'm getting chills, right? So I actually messaged the guys and I told them, and they said, look, we didn't do a deep dive. You could tell that they weren't familiar with the machine, but they did some research and they were trying to apply what they learned and everything else like that. And it was a good listen, so I definitely say check it out. I'm definitely not trying to sling any mud here on another podcast, but they did talk about the CoCo. Just be warned, there's a few things they weren't quite aware of, and that's what I feel fortunate with that we've got, like the CoCo Crew podcast, we've got our Facebook group, we've got so many resources that it's hard not to be well informed now if you look in the right places. So lots of information on the CoCo is out there. Another article that came up this week, or recently anyways, was Ed Snider announcing that he's gone from his Google Sites that he used to have a lot of stuff on to creating an actual full website that's called the Zipster Zone. So he announced that on Facebook, and now he's actually got a website that is thezipsterzone.com. So here's our very own beloved Ed Snider. So now you're going to be able to check out on all Ed's projects, and look, he's even got a link to buy now. Is that working? Okay, so the buy link, you can buy now to purchase an available item. Okay, so he's got extended color basic modules. He's got MC10 composite boards. So he's actually got a couple products now you can buy on his website. I would imagine this will get fleshed out over time. So that's kind of good, because Ed Snider makes a lot of things, but sometimes it's hard to reach him, and people are saying, well, I left him a message, or I emailed him, or I Facebooked him. Now he's got a website, and you can actually buy things online. So that's progress, right? And so if you guys don't know who Ed Snider is, he makes all kinds of stuff for the CoCo. He's producing the CoCo SDC. He did not design it, but he's producing it. He's got the mini multi-pack. He's got all kinds of sound chips and new multi-packs. The guy's an animal, right? So that is some of the news I came across. I don't know if I went too fast, if anybody wanted to comment or chime in on any of those things I mentioned in the meantime.
So I'll say that Ed is also making. He also designed the boards and is making CoCo VGA for me. And he actually has a shipment of those more boards on their way to me right now. So, yeah, very prolific.
Yeah, no doubt. Right, and so there's a couple of comments I missed in there, but yeah. So I think most of us know that the name TRS-80 originally came from Tandy Radio Shack, and that the Z80 processor, the Model 1, was based off of. That's the origin of that name, and then it kind of became just a brand name. So even though the color computer did not have a Z80 processor, it was still originally known as the TRS-80 color computer. When did they switch from TRS-80 to Tandy? I know it was definitely at the CoCo 3 time, maybe even at some of the late.
I was in the CoCo 2 time too. CoCo 2 time. The later CoCo 2s say.
There's some CoCo 2s of either type, depending on when it was made.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so TRS-80 got its roots in the fact that Tandy and Radio Shack were the parent companies, and the Z80 processor was the original Model 1. Tom C. just joined and says, good afternoon, all. Hey, Tom. So that's where that name comes from. And yeah, there was just a couple of things on the on that other podcast I was telling you about too. They're like, well, yeah, I know because these guys, they had reviewed all the TRS-80 line on part 1, and in part 2, they're like, well, here's the bad part about the CoCo. It's not compatible with any of the software of the other TRS-80 things. And I'm like, well, that's not really a bad thing. It's a whole different system. It wasn't designed to be compatible. But yeah, I get it. You're not as familiar as us, and that's okay. But it's kind of cool when people are out there finding. There's never a wrong time to find out about the CoCo, and so
do you know if they're going to be doing a follow-up based on some of the new information you gave them?
Well, they said they will in the future plan a deep dive. I don't know when.
Oh, okay.
I'd actually like to invite them on. So I was thinking about doing that today, but I'm just so behind on everything and being sick and everything. It's just kind of hard to manage. So yeah, I will reach out to them and ask them to join us. But yeah, seem like some good guys and good chemistry. Just the two of them bouncing stuff off of each other. Good show. I think that was around episode 22. So I'm not sure how long they've been podcasting and what their release schedule is. I don't know if it's weekly or monthly or whatever. But so. It's always nice to have another retro podcast out there, and so welcome and thanks for covering the CoCo, guys. Have we lost Jason?
I think so.
Okay, we lost Jason again. That's okay. Jason's out at Hamvention, and he's probably got some background noise issues, maybe some connectivity issues. It's outdoors, broadband, the whole thing, the live remote. Ron Delvaux, do we want to look at? We still have a good 15 minutes before we're going to go live on Roku. Do you want to show us?
Yeah, we can wait. I'm going to set up the camera better.
Oh, okay.
All I got's a connector there.
Okay, but yeah, so. So Paul Fiscarelli says the web-based client is pretty decent. He says PuTTY takes a little bit to get it configured properly. Oh, so like with PuTTY is getting ANSI and stuff. I've only used PuTTY for like Telnet, and I use PuTTY to log into like a Cisco router and stuff, so I don't usually get into...
This is what I use.
What is that?
It's called S-Term. It's a real old program.
Okay, for Windows?
Yeah.
What about like Hyperterminal? Did Hyperterminal do ANSI? That came with like Windows XP in 98 and stuff?
No. I can't remember.
I think it
It
did.
should. ANSI's been around for 30 years.
I used
to use Telex myself back in the PC.
Yeah.
DOS days.
Yeah, so I could get into doing some Telnet BBSing. I'm not quite so sure that I would be as crazy about doing it on the CoCo because you still got to deal with the crappy keyboard. But I could use a PC and a real keyboard and do some Telnet BBSing. So I think I'd like to spend a little bit more time on the Neil Blanchard doohickey in the near future. Internal Affairs BBS. The graphics on it are really good. He's got lots of good graphics, and because it's all modern now, everything pops up really fast. You know, you almost need to emulate the speed. It'd be kind of neat to watch it kind of like trickle down onto the screen, you know. So I wonder if there's a way to throttle that and get it, you know, simulate like even 1200 baud or something like that for a true retro experience. When
300 for a real retro experience.
Yeah, when your pages are popping, it's not even like a BBS anymore. You know, it's like the internet. We're on the internet, kids. All right, well, go ahead, Curtis.
I was just going to say Twilight Terminal, the program that Ron will be demonstrating here, and the one by SockMaster for doing ANSI, with the full 32 colors and an 80 by 32 screen, actually will run 9600 baud even on the Bitbanger port. So it's a pretty good clip that one can go at.
Okay, we'll have to take a look at that. I think there might be one more thing we do maybe want to find, because you guys mentioned it, and our good friend Simon Johnassen did have an ant problem. Can anybody find the one of the pictures of Simon's Commodores being just completely consumed by ants? I know he posted a few of those. I don't remember where. Do you know where he posted it in Discord? Was it an off topic?
I don't.
Because I think he posted it in Discord too.
I saw the Facebook post. I don't know about Discord.
Yeah, here we go. It's in Discord and off topic, so I'll bring that up real quick. I found it. And so, yeah, we talk about Discord a lot. And so, yeah, Discord, we got all kinds of chat rooms. And here's some of the pictures that Simon was posting. So here is, you can kind of see some of the ants on the outside here. And then we have... you can see some more on the bottom. Look at this. This is just like an infestation. That's insane, right? You know what this is? This is God punishing him for all his self-modifying code, right? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah, you self-modify code, we're going to modify your code.
Yeah, that's it. So look at all these ants here. This is like the plagues. This is like, you know, locust and all kinds of crap going on here. Look at the inside of this thing. Look at all these ants. This is insane, right?
You're getting to the better pictures.
Yeah, it gets worse.
Look at this. This would make a great testimonial for like an exterminator company, right? Oh my God! Look at this. There it is. Look at this. This looks like somebody just dumped some coffee grounds in there or something. Or look at all these ants. Now these things are obviously not destructive, right? So they weren't like tearing anything up, right? So were they just looking for shelter?
Well, I think he said that they set a nest up in there, so there must have been comfortable France and
under his TV.
Wow.
Did he say if the Commodore worked after he cleaned it?
Oh yeah. You had to clean it, but it worked.
Takes a licking and keeps on ticking, huh? So that is something. That is just, it's frightening. It's absolutely frightening. Okay, so here's some of the after pictures now, or maybe not. So here's where he's got things starting to be cleaned out. So that is just something, huh? That is wild. That's like a nightmare, right? Just you just come home and see your computer just covered like that.
I think there's a rock band that actually named themselves after that, called Alien Ant Farm or something like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's a new dimension in selling video games. Ant Attack. Real ants.
I'm going to have to ask Simon how long it took him to debug his Commodore 64. So.
Yeah. Hey, Ron, are you ready to show us the terminal?
Yeah, I guess we could try.
All right. I'm going to make you full screen here. Okay. And so which program is this? Which terminal program is this?
Twilight Term.
Okay, on a CoCo.
Yep. Okay, here we go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, so this is a better speed.
This is 9600 baud.
Okay. And you going over DriveWire, or do you have one of those Wi-Fi modem things?
No, I have a RS-232 pack with a RS-232. I don't know if you can see it well.
So going to your Raspberry Pi?
No, it's going to my PC through this program called S-Term, and it has a Telnet thing where it allows you to use a serial port through my COM7.
So your PC is acting as the redirect.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
COM7. So.
Okay. Yeah, so you're gonna log in. Yeah, the graphics are really good on this, and that's on a CoCo too. That's really impressive.
He's doing a lot of tricks on this one to get the display as good as it is.
Yeah, Paul Thayer's calling in.
And this is back in the days when, where his title came from, SockMaster. He was into these BBSs back then.
He ran his own.
Yeah.
He ran his own. Yeah. So that's that's where the term.
Look at that werewolf.
Master.
Yeah, it's like a werewolf with his tongue hanging out or something. That looks really cool, right?
Yeah, this says upcoming events: Tandy Assembly, November 9th through 11th, 2018. VCF East, May 18th through 20th. Kansas Fest, VCF West.
Is that a wolf or is it a predator, alien?
Hard to say. Who was getting ready to ask a question here?
Yeah, sorry. I was wondering if you guys know if Neil did his own artwork for his BBS or if he grabbed it from somewhere else. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I like it.
Yeah. Look at this. We got like a bomber plane here. Look at that.
Brief history of
Flying Tiger.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's a brief history. News flash. Is that what that says? Presented by. What is his name on? Screaming Eagle.
Yeah.
Okay. Stats. Look at that skull. That's.
It says I'm established at 115.2.
Okay. Because that's what the Telnet connection is on your PC side, right?
I guess so.
Yeah, I need to get a terminal. I might break down and do it on the CoCo, but yeah. Here we go. Here's your. Yeah, I started playing one of the games. It was like a role-playing adventure game, and it turns out, I guess, look at the Sanic. There's Sanic right there. Sanic the Hedgehog. He's looking good.
Sanic.
Sanic.
Insane.
That looks really good.
There's all these games. Let's see. Here's one, Lord.
Yeah, that's the one. So it's an adventure game, right? The Legend of the Red Dragon. And apparently I experimented in the game, and I didn't realize I had to check myself into the inn. So I was still out in the wild somewhere, and I got killed. So Neil had posted a picture on my Facebook page saying that he resurrected me. He showed me that picture. So I guess you can't. It's kind of like Force of Doom. You just can't be standing around. Things will still come out and kill you. So it was kind of cool. But this one, you can have multi people playing at the same time, right? This whole thing is multi-user, which is really cool, right? So. And there's a normal message board, right? So there's BBS message board, there's email, so you can have discussions going on here. So it's neat.
Yeah, and Twilight Terminal, as far as for visually doing ANSI, was by far the best on the CoCo. There's a few others that also did limited ANSI, but he's basically running 640 by 225, 4-color mode on multiple screens that he's flipping between to do the extra colors because he has up to 32 colors at once. And he's using phase shifting to smooth out the colors so they don't flicker as bad.
Wow.
Oh, while doing 9600 baud on the Bitbanger, and he's moving like 64K of screen space just about every frame. So
Wow.
It's an impressive bit of programming.
Yeah. Is this the one that SockMaster made, Twilight Thorn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He used to test out his BBS because his BBS on the CoCo supported ANSI.
Okay. Yeah, looks neat. Yeah, one of the things I haven't had a chance to look at yet either is the Play-Doh, so the Errata Online. Grant Leighty says, did I get past level 1 in the game? Yeah, no, I was just kind of looking around in the game, but yeah, and apparently died. So, yeah, no, these graphics are all really, really good.
So, is it possible to set up a real CoCo to run this software to go through DriveWire and then connect on the internet to get to these websites?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, Mikey wrote DW term that will just run under basic RS-DOS and then use DriveWire to do that. And isn't there another one that'll do that too? Trying to think.
Yeah, I think it might have to be written for DriveWire. I can't remember, but I mean, you can use some of the stuff like David Ladd's been doing, where you can actually have the CoCo directly linked to it too. So
use a Wi-Fi, yeah.
Maybe we need to have a tech session, one show with David Ladd showing how to do that.
Yeah,
I asked for Screaming Eagle, and it says Screaming Eagle is probably out having a Slurpee.
Oh, you're trying to page the sysop. I remember that was the thing you could do back. Yeah, I ran a BBS. It wasn't on a CoCo. That was on my Tandy 1000.
I did, but I never got this fancy.
Yeah.
Let's see who's on. Cosmo, Cyprin, Screaming Eagle, Ron Delvaux, and Pink Panther.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I had a maximum I did back in the day was three users at once, including the sysop, because I couldn't afford all the friggin' phone lines for.
Oh yeah, because you needed to have an actual dial-up line to support that, right? Yeah.
We maxed out our apartment because my roommate at the time also was running a BBS on his PC, and I had a multi-user BBS. And when we lived on a place on Main Street, we had 6 phone lines coming in for all the BBSs and stuff we had going on, and that was the max it would let us put into a single house.
Oh wow. All right, well, it's 3 o'clock, guys. You want to go ahead and see if we can't get on Roku live? You guys ready for this?
Go for it.
This will be awesome.
All right, so Ron Delvaux is going to point his thing over here to his Roku. I'm
the big red switch.
I'm going to start my output to that right now. Is it working? Is it not working yet? So hold on 1 second here. Alright, so I think I'm gonna have to switch my codec now, it's telling me. Because I'm doing a local, apparently my software is giving me an issue with some of these. Oh, it's not, okay, so it's not online right now. Roger's supposed to have it set up where it's gonna happen on a schedule. I'm trying to connect. And maybe
you're just a minute or two off.
Well, he was supposed to be ready 5 minutes early. So we'll give it a minute here. But yeah, I can't connect. So how about we do this? I'm going to run a commercial, and then we'll come back and we'll try to switch over to Roku. So we'll be right back, people.
Hi, this is Dale Lear, designer of TRS-80 Color Baseball, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
G'day, mates. This is Nick Marionets, author of such color computer titles as Donut Disaster, Rupert Rhymes, and Rockstar Pilot. And I am here today to tell you about the world's most fabulous operating system, OS 9. OS 9 and its current incarnation, Nitrous 9, is the most advanced operating system ever created. And what makes it so good? Ease of use. I find OS 9 so incredibly intuitive that I haven't once cracked open the user manual, and yet I've been able to create such incredible games faster than the time it takes to sing Waltzing Matilda. Using OS 9, I expect my next game, Funstar, will be done this weekend and distributed exclusively on ROM cartridge. OS 9 forever.
Any resemblance to actual events to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.
That Nick Marionettes.
Well, I remember that Christmas. Dad gave me my first shortwave radio from Radio Shack. What memories. This Christmas, we got our son's color computer 3 from Radio Shack. It hooks right up to our TV and was on sale for less than $1.
You should have put that French commercial that was on Facebook.
Yeah, I didn't have it in time. I'll add it to the list. Yeah, the audio on this is horrible.
On the sale-priced color computer 3, only at Radio Shack.
And for whatever reason, I'm just not able to do it right now. And this is the problem, trying to do stuff live right now. So Grant Leighty is calling in. Here comes Greg. So unfortunately, for this test to happen, Roger needs to have his stream service turned on. And I'm streaming to something on his end that then streams to Roku. It's like a broker. And he's supposed to have that scheduled to kick in. But if it's not running, I can't connect to it. And I can't connect to it. Yeah, so I can't do it. So I just sent him a message, and if he comes back, we'll try to get that going. But unfortunately, the big thing that we were supposed to do today is not happening. So
yeah, it's not yet a CoCo project, but it could be.
So don't give up, and hopefully just Roger might be coming home from work and get it going. Who the hell knows? And hey, Greg is here. Grant Leighty, how are you?
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing okay. I think a lot of us are under the weather this week.
Yep. Yes, I think so. I think Curtis was sick, and I think David is sick, and I think you were sick too, are you not?
Yeah, I'm still getting over it, yeah.
And how's your recovery going there, Greg, Grant, whatever your name is?
Yes, thanks to CoCoMAN. The surgery is doing fine. Unfortunately, I have an infection on my arm from where they put the IV, so I'm fighting that right now. But other than that, the surgery portion is doing great.
Oh, good to hear.
Now, Roger just responded back to me saying, I can't stream. I wonder what that means. Wonder if something's going on with the software on his end now.
Something's broken!
Yeah, and it's really weird. Roku, the way he's explaining it to me, and I still don't fully understand it, but Roku is not really very friendly for receiving content. It's got some very rigid ways it wants things to work, and you have to work around that. So anyways, yeah, he just popped in on the Facebook Messenger and says, I can't stream. So I don't know what that means. Tim Franklin says, Roger does have a link, but it's dead. Okay, I don't know what that means. But so this might not happen today, but it will happen because we actually tested it.
25 minutes.
Oh, 25 minutes. So he's got to get home to turn it on manually, whereas it was supposed to be automated. He had set something up in the software to automatically start the stream server, but apparently that did not work. Never put faith in automation. All right, so we're going to delay that. We're going to delay that for 25 minutes or half hour or so.
Like 2 o'clock his time.
Yeah. All right. So Ron Delvaux, did you also have a Ron's Garage thing you wanted to show us?
It would have been the the thing we just did.
Yeah, the Twilight Term, and then the
otherwise,
the
otherwise I just do. I've been doing my pictures. This is a BMP of CoCoTALK.
Yeah, that looks good, and that's on a CoCo, right?
Yeah, that's it's emulated.
Yeah, but still, it looks good.
Looks
using another SockMaster product, the high color BMP viewer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see he's working on a CoCo 2 version of Donkey Kong?
Is that what those pictures were? That was CoCo 2.
Yep.
Oh, I did not.
You might want to bring that up if you want an extra news article. Just show a screenshot of his progress.
I do have a why didn't Tandy do that? We can talk about.
Okay. Well, let me find the infographic here. This is a professional show, so hold on one second here.
Yep. Winging it live.
Tell me why did Tandy do that?
All right. Well, Ron Delvaux, it's not necessarily Ron's Garage, but since you're talking, I got your picture up here.
Okay. So, for ever, we've always seen these ads And I must say, CoCo TV has 5 of them on there, and each one has a reference to a color computer, and always saying the color computer. It never said CoCo. Why do you think they didn't say CoCo until we just found an ad for Canada, and they mentioned the CoCo 2 as a CoCo 2? Pretty interesting, huh?
Well, I guess it really officially, Tandy, it was known as a color computer. That was the official word. CoCo was really just from enthusiasts giving it that nickname. And I guess the Canadian ad being outside of the US, maybe they got a different line on that. But in the US, yeah, it was a color computer as far as Tandy's concerned.
Yeah, I mean, even in the CoCo community, I mean, there was an argument in up until I think the end of '82. There were several nicknames that were trying to gain hold. CoCo was one, ADC was another. I think there was a couple others I can't remember off the top of my head. There was a big argument going back and forth, and eventually CoCo won out. And then by mid 1983, I mean, we had a magazine called Hot CoCo, and I think, if I remember correctly, the CoCo 2 airs when they started referring to it as a CoCo. But I remember them even in the Radio Shack catalogs calling it a CoCo in the later years. Like they'd say so, just a color computer, but they'd still have references to CoCo at a time.
CoCo has such a warm connotation to it, just warm and friendly, kind of the Apple thing.
Unless you search for it on the internet, and then it takes you to a certain woman's page all the time.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's also got some other terms as well.
Yeah, it looks like Roger sent me that one in the okay, Roger just says ETA 22 minutes now. He sent me that video. I could probably pull it up because he sent it to me in Facebook Messenger. You guys want me to pull up that CoCo commercial?
Sure.
All right.
This is my screen.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of cute. It's very French.
It's a catchy tune after you play it 5 times.
All right.
No sound.
Hold on. There we go.
What's that? Megabug.
Un ordinateur couleur qui a de la personnalité. Le CoCo 2 de Radio Shack.
Le CoCo 2.
Pour Noël à partir de 149,95.
Le CoCo 2.
Le CoCo 2. The CoCo 2.
So why is Megabug?
We got 22 minutes to kill. How about we just watch this?
Keep playing it over and over. We'll all be singing in French.
Curtis, can you translate the commercial?
It's a bonding
I don't
experience.
speak French, sorry. Hugo or somebody could if they were around, but
Yeah, find Hugo.
CoCo do the Radio Shack. I understood that much. CoCo do the Radio Shack.
And just to add to Ron's why did Tandy do that? Who created CoCo in the first originally? Who was the inventor of that term?
Rainbow did say who it was. It was one of the guys from Chromaset or something. Lingerquist or I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but it was him that came up with it. I think originally on the cassette-based magazine, and then it kind of just took off from there.
Right.
Okay, Mark Johnson says, I am French-Canadian. Bonjour.
We'll get him to translate. Could play the video again.
Yeah.
We're going to put it on a loop here. Hold on.
He has to sing the lyrics in English.
CoCo 2 Day Radio Shack. CoCo 2 by Radio Shack, right? I think that's the gist of it there. Yeah, Megabug made its way to... or it says this is Quebec, I guess. They had the Sesame Street thing on there too, the Cookie Monster thing. Yeah, Megabug looks like a boardroom going on there. I love some of those pictures where they, they're trying to pass off the CoCo 2 where it could do everything. Like an executive's going to be using that, and you see that one article where you got the businessman in a suit sitting down in front of the CoCo with the secretary looking over him like, oh my God, he is so amazing. He knows how to operate this machine. It's just like stereotypical ads. It's just like the man. Step aside, woman. This is a man thing. It's machinery, right? So
maybe she was the CoCo.
Anyway, if you want to try the Facebook link I threw into Skype chat there, hopefully that works. But it's got a couple of the screenshots from John's CoCo 1.2 port. One is all of the shapes, the shape table basically. Then another is a shot of the elevator screen.
All right, so you're gonna I'm gonna switch over, but you got to help me figure out which one is which here. So I'm gonna go over here to full screen because there's a lot of.
Go to the very bottom.
To the very, very bottom.
Last two.
Last two. Okay. So yeah, I saw these and I didn't quite appreciate it because it looked so good. I didn't realize what the deal was. So these are all the sprite pieces of Donkey Kong, but on the CoCo 1 and 2. I see that now, but for whatever reason, with the artifact colors of just your red, white, and blue. There's it looks really good.
In the Donkey Kong for the CoCo 3 that he's done, it has the Donkey Kong remix has a mode where you choose CoCo 1 and 2. Has anyone tried that?
I thought that was just a CoCo 1-2 color set, wasn't it?
Oh, was it?
I think, but
here it is. So this is a potential mock-up here, or maybe it's actual gameplay footage. So this is the elevators board. I can't believe it. I didn't realize this whole time I was looking at a CoCo 2 rendering. This looks so good. This looked like an arcade machine. I just figured, he's working on another thing with the arcade. It never dawned on me it was a CoCo 2.
Yep. If he can pull this off, I mean that'll outrank Donkey King as the best CoCo 1.2 port of Donkey Kong, obviously.
He'd have to run that at 0.89 megahertz as well. That might be a bit of a.
If anybody can pull it off, it's John.
Wow, that's right.
That is absolutely amazing.
If he puts it in a ROM pack, he can run it at high speed.
Now, if you take a close look at this particular screenshot, you can take a look at where the right elevator, the middle one's kind of blurred. I think this might actually be an in-action screenshot.
Oh, where it's like moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's probably using the same. Oh no, he can't. Is he designing this for a CoCo 1 or 2?
Yes.
Because of course you've only got 64K now. If you remember, the CoCo 3 one took up all of 512. Mind you, a lot of
that's digitized sound samples. That's also 16 colors and everything else. So he'll be definitely restricting it somewhat. That's what the new font
restricted a bit. Yeah.
And I don't know if he can do simultaneous music or anything, but if anybody, like I said, if anybody can pull it off, it'd be John.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. Yeah, I saw the pictures, and I never thought that was a CoCo 2. That makes it just so much more impressive. Absolutely.
Well, he's lucky that the red and blue of artifact colors does complement Donkey Kong fairly well.
Yeah, absolutely does. All right. Well, hopefully Roger will be home soon, and we will be able to still do our Roku TV test because the test we're doing today, he has to use a kind of a middleware solution, and that solution is on a trial, and the trial it's on is kind of like an on-demand. You've got to set it up and launch it for it to work. When that trial's done, he's going to go to a 24/7 service where we can do it on our own anytime we want to. So today was just like the pilot. So by next week, this should not be an issue once he switches his service to a premium service and not a trial service.
Well, it does work because he had NASA TV on two other channels, and they were streaming just fine.
Gotcha. Yeah. Hey, Rick Adams has joined us. Hello, Rick Adams. How are you?
Mute.
Hello.
Welcome to CoCoTALK.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. You're too kind.
Thank you. You're too kind. Yes.
Now, I've just started up the Donkey Kong remix and chose the other mode, which was P Mode 4. It has an option for video modes, P Mode 4. It's running in P Mode 4, but of course still on the CoCo 3 using the color mapping. So maybe he's gone ahead and modified that so that he's extended it to use a normal CoCo 2.
Okay. So is he running that in 256/192, or is he using
yes.
He is? So the screen shrinks and the whole bit?
Yeah, it's a P mode 4 display. So,
wow, okay.
But of course, he's not using. It looks like artifacting. I've actually got it running on a NTSC composite screen now, and it looks okay. But I assume that what he's doing is trying to make a real artifact version for the CoCo 2, ripping out the sound, ripping out all the extra stuff, and basing it on his Donkey Kong code.
Okay.
So pretty good.
With the dithering there.
Come again, James?
Yeah, I said he's done a real good job of the dithering on the elevators at the top and the bottom.
Yeah. Absolutely. And having to squeeze the real estate into an even smaller vertical. You know, you don't even have the 225 at this point. You got 192. Yeah. So Paul Fiscarelli just fact checked and said David Lagerquist. Am I pronouncing his name right?
That's a name I was trying to remember.
Coined the name CoCo from Comaset, as Curtis mentioned. Okay, David Lagerquist, or Lager. You say Lager?
I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Laurel. Yanni.
Yeah, Laurel or Yanni. However you want to do that. Hey, Rick Adams, is there? We haven't spoken to you in a while. Is there anything you want to update us on in any of your projects you got going on? Anything you're able to share?
Nothing new. We've been busy with crazy, medical things. So not much progress on the game that I'm working on. I do want to try to take. We took the 4-part music routine out of Temple of Ram and shared that around. So next I want to take all the sound routines out of Shanghai and sort of pass those around for people to look at. But I haven't done that yet.
Okay. Yeah, and that was a really interesting discussion at the end of last week's show where we tried to talk about multi-voice music and somehow may or may not have succeeded.
I just wanted to share, the link for where to get the little music demo that I did. I wasn't intending for it to be this big brouhaha.
No. Well, that wasn't. No, that brouhaha would already happened on Facebook before. So, but it was just carrying over. What was I going to ask? Gosh, there was something it was on the tip of my tongue.
Progress on the game or
saliva.
Yeah. Yeah. So the question was, you had mentioned that 4-voice routine was actually published in a magazine that you guys had pulled it from. What was that magazine originally?
Well, I'm guessing that it was Hot Cocoa. Because I don't think it was Rainbow.
Okay.
And when I think back then about what magazines we were reading back then, it was like Rainbow and Hot Cocoa, and wasn't there another one called Color Computer Magazine or something?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we probably
Color Computer News was a fourth
Computer
one.
News.
Nope, not that one. So
Color Microjournal.
Nope.
68 Microjournal.
Well, there's a color one too.
There's Nick. Nick's got the.
The left is the RGB screen. The right is the composite screen. So it's definitely using a P mode 4 display.
And it's fitting on there.
Yeah, it fits fine. It works fine on both modes.
It's a little tall for a CoCo. 1.2.
Well, he's probably still using 225 scan lines, I suppose. So, because it is still running on a CoCo 3, so I reckon he's just taken this a step further. And he's probably trying to make it work on a CoCo 2 completely on a CoCo 2. Anyway, that's it.
Very cool. Yeah, well, I still think it would be interesting to do a proper demonstration at some point in time how to produce multi-voice music, but it needs to be in a way that's a little bit more visual and a little bit more informative and less technical. So maybe we can work on some of that offline and go from like actually one of the things that was kind of cool, like when Steve Bjork did his presentation at CoCo Fest, he had some slides that showed like scan lines, and he showed some schematic type pictures. It would be kind of cool to see a schematic of what a sine wave looks like or something like that, or what does this visually look like, what are we talking about here. So that might be something that we can figure out for a future show, getting more into the CoCo sound type stuff. And there's Twilight Terminal coming up again. Is that a CM8 that you're running on there, Ron?
Yes, it is.
Man, it looks good.
Yep.
Looks good on the camera.
I have it dark in here, that's why.
Yeah. All right. Well, I know the sound is kind of crappy, but we're gonna go ahead and run another commercial here. We're killing time right now for Roger to get in here. So we're gonna run a commercial, and we'll be back here in just a few minutes, folks.
Hi, this is Rick Adams, and I'm the author of Temple of Brahm, Shanghai, and now Bomb Threat, and you're listening to CoCoStevieStrow on CoCoTALK. Hey, have you got your CoCo 3 yet? Hi, this is Rick Adams, author of Temple of Brahm and Shanghai, and you've tuned into CoCoTALK, the nation's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy color computer.
What's going on, everybody? Original Gamer StevieStrow here, and if you're a fan of vintage computing and retro gaming, then you're going to love our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. There you will find custom designs by Instagram artist Joel M. Adams. You can get I'm a Coconut, CoCoTALK, and other cool video game images on a t-shirt, coffee mug, or mouse pad. So if you love retro, then head on over to the retro swag shop at 8bit256.com today. Tell them the Original Gamer StevieStrow sent you.
From Radio Shack, the TRS-80 Model 3. And at $200 off, it's a great value. Select from Radio Shack's huge program library to aid your children's education, plan your personal and household budgets, or to entertain with fast-action games. You can even learn
fast-action games.
The TRS-80 Model 3, on sale for $7.99, only at Radio Shack.
Wow, I'm going to run out and buy one today.
Computer Centers, the computer experts.
I wanted one of those.
You gotta love those fast action games on the TRS-80 Model 3, huh?
Which reminds me, Stevie, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Have we heard any updates on Tandy Assembly?
I have not. So I'm not sure. I think there was a planning call that I might have been invited to, but it was probably when I was sick or something and I couldn't go. And I think there's another one next week. So I myself don't know any updates on Tandy Assembly. Mark Johnson says, long time ago I wrote a program that was a music writer and used for voices. So yeah, maybe we can get you to help us out with explaining some of that, Mark, in the concise, user-friendly way. Might be kind of cool. What are you working on here, Ronnie? What are you pulling up here on your terminal?
This is Wikipedia.
Wikipedia on Telnet.
Let's see. Here's the beginning. Hang on. QUIT. I want to start it again so you can see the beginning.
No, look at that. Wikipedia.
Wow.
That
it
is so
scrolls.
Cool.
It's weird. You can't read it all. And I'm at 9600 baud, but it says type an article name to read an article.
So you got to know what you're looking for, huh?
SPACE space. Look at that.
That's pretty quick at 9600 baud.
And smooth.
Is that an article that we're looking at right now?
Yes.
And how the hell are you supposed to read it? It's
filling in my buffer, evidently.
Yeah. Can you see if the Control S will pause it?
Let's see. Control S. Nope.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if he implemented that or not.
I probably have to look at the, in the beginning it tells you what to type to get to learn how to navigate.
So you would now have to like scroll back to actually read some of this.
Yeah. Which I don't think you can do. No.
Yeah.
I can't remember if you can or not. I know it had a pretty good buffer, but I can't remember how exactly you accessed it. There's that little pop-up window at the beginning of Twilight Terminal that explains some of the keys.
buffer. The load buffer or save buffer. That's all it has.
Oh, okay.
There's your pop-up window there, huh?
Yeah.
So you can't scroll back.
If I use Ultimate Term, I can go. It may do it differently. There's
Yeah,
no
well,
ANSI.
Wikipedia it should work okay, but it won't display ANSI graphics properly.
Yeah. Let me try.
You know it's a light. It's a light show here when we're looking for BBS content to kill airtime right now. So
it is period correct though.
It is period correct. It is a CoCo project. So
and it is a CoCo logging onto real Wikipedia, so that's pretty impressive.
That is pretty good.
We'll have to look up the TRS-80 color computer on Wikipedia.
Yeah, look up the CoCo.
I saw a post today that says a Gopher server for Wikipedia too.
So Wikipedia has like a Telnet interface?
All right, so Roger Taylor says we can go. Are we ready to try live on Roku here? Are we ready to break out the champagne? All right.
Yes. Wikipedia has a Telnet interface. I posted it in the chat on YouTube.
Okay, so we are going to try this right now. We are going to try to go live. We're going to do it live. We're going to do it live on Roku. Is everybody ready to go live to Roku?
Sure.
Let's go.
Do it.
Let's all count down. This is like the ball drop on midnight. And let's get a 3 together now. 3, 2, 1.
Live.
Hey.
All right. Well, it didn't tell me it couldn't connect, so I've just sent my feed over. And now it might just take a few minutes. We got Ron Delvaux watching on his end. It could be up to a 30-second delay, but we're going to find out here in just a minute here. So what we're seeing right now on Ron's TV here is he's got Roku TV up. It does say live stream.
I click on the on the stream.
Okay.
To see if it'll load.
It's not coming up for me yet either.
Okay, so you've got Roku too, James?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, it's streaming to one service. It's got to stream to another service. It's got to be recoded. So there could be, a 30-second delay or so, or who the hell knows. This is beyond me. This is Roku. So
this has got to be much more exciting than watching files compile.
Yeah.
Are we doing something wonderful?
Do we have any stock BBS footage we can go to in the meantime?
Hey, put on your CD.
Actually, technically, there is on the CoCo group on Facebook. Eric and Alice actually put in, I think, using either Ultimate Term or Touch, I can't remember which one, but he actually had. You remember that ASCII movie version of Star Wars?
Oh yeah.
I was going to.
He's actually watching it on his real CoCo. So
that's funny. That's funny. Well, I'm streaming. Tim Franklin, "Oh to the Wedding" stream.
Nope.
Dead so far. Okay, so I'm going to ask Roger and say I'm okay.
Who got married today?
Buried or married?
Married.
Prince, what's his face, and
it's the royal wedding, the royal wedding, right? So.
Yeah, who woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning to watch that?
Yeah, it's like, why have a royal family these days? That
is
called tradition. Some countries have tradition. It's a good thing.
Yeah, but when you know those little royal babies. Who's the other one? So Harry's the one that just got married, right?
William.
William, right? So William's kids, right? William and whatever.
The younger one.
Yeah. So that is like the epitome of white privilege, if you think about it, right? I mean, these guys are just literally born into royalty. All right, what are we doing here? Streaming is running. He says it's running.
It's up here. Nothing here.
Do I need to update my server? Same as yesterday. I'm using the same information as yesterday. All right, well, this is the fun part about doing it live. We'll do it live.
We like to watch the sausage getting made.
Yeah. The streaming is running. I got to try to update my stream again. I don't know what's going on here.
It's trying.
Is it trying?
Yeah, it's saying retrieving.
Does it say retrieving?
Yeah,
it's
but
streaming now. Okay, Tim Franklin says it's streaming now.
We're live.
Are we live?
The streaming is running. The streaming is running, is what you just said on it. Yep. We're gone.
All right, I don't see it on Ron's end though.
Nope.
Ron, maybe you need to exit back out of the channel and go back into it.
Okay.
So you're seeing it on your end. There's CoCo TV.
I'm seeing it.
Tim Franklin says he is.
Okay.
There it goes.
There we go. All right, we're live. All right. Well, let's mute the sound on that because we're going to get like triple feedback.
What you just said on it. Yep. We're gone.
All right. Well, we're live on Roku, everybody. It took a little while there to get that going.
Now for the real show.
Yeah, yeah. So what we should do right now is we should now probably reintroduce ourselves to the world of Roku, because somebody who's just tuning in now on Roku, we probably need to start all over and say who we are. And so, hello Roku out there, how are you? We're live on you, Roku. We're in you. Does it feel good? All right, so we're here. This is CoCoTALK Live. We are usually live on YouTube every Saturday, and starting today and hopefully every day forward, we will also be live on you, Roku, on the CoCo TV channel, thanks to Roger Taylor, and we talk about the Tandy color computer. On our show today, we have lots of members of the color computer community, including from Australia, Mr. Nick Marentes. Hello, Nick. Say hi to Roku.
Crickets.
Crickets.
Yes.
Mute.
It takes
a while for him to flip it upside down.
The sound has to reach Australia, come back, and then get to Roku. So there's a lot of relaying going on here right now. We also have with us Mr. Mark Overholser. Say hi to Roku, Mark.
Hi there, Roku.
James Diffendaffer, who's watching us on Roku right now. Say hi, James.
Hello, Roku.
Paul Thayer's with us, creator of Timberman. How are you, Paul?
Good. Hello, Roku.
How are you? Rick Adams. Say hi to everybody, Rick.
I'm working on it. I have to push the right buttons. Hello, Roku. Hajime Mashite.
Grant Leighty, what do you have to say to Roku?
Hello, Roku.
And it's CoCo TV technically, right? So let's say hi to the people watching us on CoCo TV. Brendan Donahe, say hi to the folks at home. You're muted. That's fine.
Howdy, everyone.
Al Curtis Boyle.
I was just going to say, Paul Thayer is the creator of Timberman. I think Ron's parents might have some argument on that. But hello to everybody in Roku, CoCo TV land.
Right, and Ron Delvaux, big fan of CoCo TV. It's been
Hello.
This is a happy day for you, right, Ron?
Thank you, Roger. Been trying to get this going for a long time.
Yes.
Yep, it's cool. Definitely.
You mean just today or in general?
In general.
Yes. Yeah, Tim Franklin says now millions of more viewers. Don't get nervous. Yeah, millions of more viewers. So,
yeah, we can't see them.
Yeah. So
well, we have different sections. You want to tell them what we do?
What we do on the show?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we talk about we talk about the Tandy color computer. We talk about news. We start off with kind of like what we just did here, introducing who's on the panel. We usually talk about what we did this week if we're working on projects. We go over news, which we have covered, and this is now news right now, the fact that we are live on Roku. This is news. We are simulcasting on the internet and on streaming television, so that's kind of cool. Retro Innovation says hello, Roku. So Retro Innovation says hi, Jim Brain. So we talk about news. We have a bunch of different segments. We have different topics like why did Tandy do that, or why didn't Tandy do that. We have the question of the week, which by the way, Grant Leighty, do you have a question for us today? We can actually do one of our segments.
No, actually, I do not have one today.
Okay. So Grant Leighty often will have the question of the week for us. Ron Delvaux has a segment called Ron's Garage where he'll show us some of his many retro systems that he has. And right now, Ron is basically okay. There's what are we looking at here, Ron?
That's my Coco Pi in a black case with a what do you call it? Keyboard that runs on the what do they call it?
Bluetooth.
Bluetooth. Yeah, Bluetooth keyboard. Which I don't know why, but they made the lettering on the keyboard white, and you can barely see it.
But
in a dark room.
But it is kind of chiclety, so it is kind of like a CoCo keyboard.
There's the Coco Pi right there.
Right,
and right now it's running a program that shows BMP files, and this is a BMP file of CoCoTALK. Is it all blurred? Blotted out?
The light contrast.
Yeah, it's blown out right now.
No, that's fine. We get the idea.
Yeah,
Ron's got an impressive collection of vintage computers, and every week he brings out a new marvel for us to drool over.
And this is what a CoCo looks like, in case you wondered.
Yeah.
CoCo 3.
With an extra sticker.
Yeah.
Yes. From the CoCo Fest show.
Yeah, that's neat. I'm showing that on your Facebook group.
Yep. Right now I have a terminal program on it. It's not terminal. It's just a terminal program. And I can bring up different things.
And then Wikipedia on the CoCo. That's absolutely amazing. Look how fast it's going.
Yep.
Right. And so if you're watching CoCo TV on Roku, you're probably having interest in old things, right? And that's what we're interested in. We all have some type of affection for this machine. It was part of our lives at one point in time and is a part of our life again. And it's this who was I talking to the other day? It was actually Roger Taylor, when he's basically saying there's more going on in the CoCo community now than there. The CoCo community kind of peaked in the mid '90s is when this thing started to kind of fizzle. For those of you who were there,
it's had a couple peaks and valleys. I mean, when the CoCo 3 first came out, there's a big splurge then too, and then also around '83 was the peak probably of the CoCo 1 and 2, and then the third party market kind of did really well in the early to mid '90s after Tandy canceled it for a bit, but then it kind of went downhill, and then the last 2 to 3 years. Basically, since the CoCo Crew podcast and some other stuff started, it's been picking back up again.
But for a 35-year-old machine, there's more going on with this system today than there has been in easily 10 years. Or more.
We have to mention OS 9.
OS 9? We have to.
Yes, and we have a new version of it. It's called Nitrous 09.
Nitrous 9. That's a new project, and so a lot of the people here on our panel are working on new software for the color computer. Nick Marentes
and hardware.
And Nick has been working on software since the TRS-80 Model 1 and 3.
Yep.
And a Popstar Pilot came out last year. He's working on a new game this year, Gunstar. Right. James Diffendaffer is working on a lot of projects, optimizing BASIC on the MC10 and on the CoCo 3, and Lord knows what else. The 6303 processor implementation in the MC10.
That's correct.
Yeah. Paul Thayer working on projects too. Paul Thayer
We've had
released
a bunch of new games that came out.
Yeah, Paul made a new game called Timberman. He's working on a couple new projects now too, including Downland 2 and Buff Commando. Busy guy. New CoCo games. Rick Adams, who made games back in the day, as we say, made Temple of Rom and Shanghai, and to name a few, and last year released Bomb Threat for the color computer, a new game, working on another new game now. So we got that going on. Brendan Donahe's working on new hardware for the CoCo to add VGA output to the color computer 1 and 2, so you can add more modern display, and not only does it handle display connectivity, but adds a lot of more value-added features, better displays, better colors, more graphics modes, now selectable character fonts. So there's just a lot of stuff going on, and so everybody gets in this hobby their own way, and we're doing different things. And we've been doing this show now for over a year, right? We started this show a little over a year ago to celebrate the fact that we were all going to CoCoFest, and that was something that was new to me. The fact that at that time, that was the 25th annual Chicago CoCoFest that's been going on since the Rainbow Fest happened, and I think that's really when things started getting kicked into high gear. It was around 2015, 2016 is when the kind of resurgence in the community happened between the CoCo Crew podcast, which, by the way, yes, we are now the second podcast, right? So the CoCo Crew podcast has been running for a year now. They're monthly. They're a 3 to 4 hour show chock full of goodness every month. It's the Rainbow Magazine for your ears. The CoCo Crew podcast has been going on for 3 years now. They really kind of kick-started the community and interest in CoCoFest and got a lot of us all re-interested and reinvigorated. And so, yeah, the community is alive. That's thriving. The color computer, a lot of us still have the old machines. You can buy them on eBay. They're still around. As Ron was pointing out, there is ways to emulate them with software or the Raspberry Pi. Lots of different ways to do the CoCo. And this show, we're all together because we love that machine. And you got me, who doesn't shut up. I'm going to shut up now. You guys talk.
You know what? Maybe if you did a commercial, you could show also the people who we support us, and that'll be interesting.
We can start off by looking at our sponsors again. Sure, why not? So these are some of the things going on in the CoCo community. Good call there, Ron Delvaux. You want to read some of this off here, Ron? Since so
I was a smart aleck, wasn't I?
What about Greg, co-host? You want to take this one?
Yeah, do it.
Yes, we have the CoCo VGA project at CoCoVGA.com. Boys in Tech at boysintech.com. We also have the troll of our group, which is Retro Innovations at store.goforretro.com. Then we also have the SDpack.com. And then we also have the Switcheroo by CoCoMAN at, I believe it's CoCoMAN.biz. Then plus we have the CoCo TV on Roku, which you're watching on right now. And of course, if you want to get some swag and T-shirts and coffee mugs and drinking cups and so forth, make sure you go to Retro Swag at 8bit256.com. And you go, if you need anything to learn about the CoCo itself, anything at all, like where to go for certain projects, go to I'mACoconut.com. I pretty much guarantee you'll find everything there for you, or at least get started with. Then, of course, the CoCoTALK podcast, and then the other podcast, the CoCo Crew podcast, which comes out monthly, which is a 3 to 4 hour show. It's always it's always entertaining to get that each and every month. Usually, it comes at the end of the month. And then we also have, I always mispronounce this,
Extructus
Productions, which makes great commercials and funny videos for our show at fd501.com. Back to you, Steve.
That's right, and that's Brian Joyce out of Australia who does that. Right. So we'll run a bumper, we'll run a commercial too, just to show you what else we do on the show here, because this is a professional show, as Grant would say. So check this out here, CoCo TV.
Hi, this is Antonio Jimenez, author of such projects such as the CoCoTALK Devil and the SD Pack, and you're watching CoCoTALK. 3, 2, go.
Hey, this is Bruce Moore, author of Force of Doom, and you're watching the original gamer StevieStrow.
Only the bravest souls enter. Only the most cunning return. Defeat innumerable monsters to ransom the king's scepter, stolen by the evil wizard. Your sword, shield, and wits are your only allies. Pray you find a magical inn as your only respite in the forest of doom.
For the tiny color computer 1, 2, and 3,
November 2017, if you dare.
Let the Radio Shack TRS-80 put the world of color computing into your home. Instant loading program packs turn any color TV into an exciting game arcade. And there's more. The color computer is an educational aid, a home management tool, and up-to-the-minute electronic information service. The programmable, expandable TRS-80 color computer from $399 only at Radio Shack, the biggest name in little computers.
And speaking of which, that was one of the new products that came out last year too, Forest of Doom by Bruce Moore in Canada, who is not with us here today. Also, a couple of people in the live chat. So Tom C was saying Roku or bust, and then John Stinnett says hi there. Hey John, how are you? And then there we go, a couple more people in the live chat. So yeah, if you're watching us on Roku and you see some of these people on the sidebar here who are chatting live, those are the people who are watching us live on YouTube. I have no idea. I don't think we can have people chatting back to us from Roku, right? Roku is there's no way to type into Roku, right?
Yeah, it's one way.
It's a one-way thing. So you won't be able to chat back to us live, but if you wanted to do that, you could switch over to seeing us on YouTube. CoCoTalk.live is the website. If you go to live.CoCoTalk.live, that'll take you to where we are on YouTube. But yeah, so the little sidebar here is the people who are watching us live. There's 20 people on YouTube watching us live right now, and they will occasionally chime in. Some of them will troll. Some of them will have something valuable to say. It's just hard to say. Ron Delvaux is showing off a slideshow of some pictures from CoCo Fest that we were just at towards the end of April. That's our kind of annual migration. And so we all get together, the gathering of the Cocoa Nuts, and we definitely are a community. A bunch of crazy people who love this old machine, and we like getting together, hanging out here every week on the show. We get together at least once a year for CoCo Fest for a weekend and geek out on this machine. You know, and the great thing is there's still a lot of passion for this machine, and there's lots of things still going on. New hardware being developed all the time, new software, new games, new ways to connect us to the internet. Earlier we were talking about bulletin board systems. Neil Blanchard's got his bulletin board system back up, and you can connect to that on a CoCo. It's just absolutely amazing the cool, fun things we can do with our color computer, and it's just it's an interesting hobby. So hopefully you'll tune in with us every week live and check out that show. And what else you guys want to say about the CoCo and our show here?
I think we need to run a CoCoFOREVER.
Yeah, that's true. A CoCoFOREVER teaser. So this is actually another project. So you guys are great on your suggestions here. So Bruce Moore, who is not with us on the show, but Bruce has been releasing some products and things for the CoCo that were kind of interesting. So last year he released a game called Forest of Doom. I don't think I have the book handy, but it was a role-playing game for the color computer, and the cool thing about it was you bought a strategy guide. And so you bought the strategy guide that tells you how to play the game and gives you tips on playing the game, and then that gave you the link to download it, right? So here we have a couple people holding up those pictures there. Mark Overholser's holding up his, Curtis Boyles. So this was kind of an interesting way to distribute a piece of software. You buy the book, you get the game for free, and you actually got something printed and something tangible to go with it, which is pretty cool. So that was kind of neat what Bruce did, and Paul Thayer did something similar here too, as Mark is showing here. So Timberman was produced on an SD card, because that's a new thing we have for the CoCo, the ability to stick in an SD card into a cartridge and run software off of that. So Paul Thayer released his game Timberman with a glossy manual and an SD card with a custom printed label. You pop it in, you play the game. And now Bruce Moore is working on a project that's going to be like this audio drama, kind of like I guess that's a good name for it, audio drama, right? Like the old radio serials, right? And so it's a project called CoCoFOREVER. He's still working on it. It's it's involved a lot of members of the community as voice actors, as talent, if you will. And we'll go ahead and run a teaser trailer for CoCoFOREVER so you can get an idea of what Bruce is working on right now. We'll do it live.
Yeah.
Florida.
It's coming, we promise.
Oy vey.
Put the crickets up.
Oh, you know what? It got moved. Oy vey. All right. Where the hell did it go? Crikeys. This is what happens here. This is what happens when you do it live, right? I was messing around with this stuff all day today. All right. You guys talk amongst yourselves while I find this frickin' thing here. You guys keep talking.
Put mine up and you can see Coco Fest.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you talk about Coco Fest while I look for this crap here. Look at that. That's really nice there. Anybody going to narrate what we're seeing here, or are you just going to let these pictures fly? Remember, this is an audio show.
This is a new keyboard.
This doesn't happen on my show.
Yeah, this is the new keyboard from Cloud9 that replaces the Mylar plastic.
Is anybody going to get one of those?
I might. I'm not going to get it right away, but yeah, I might. I did like the feel of it, and I do. I'm like, if I'm doing true retro, I'm not going to cheat and use a PC or a Mac keyboard. So.
All right. There's a nice Raspberry Pi running a Coco.
Mm-hmm.
That's Ron Klein's, right?
Yes.
All right.
In a plexi case.
I am ready to pull up the Coco 3 teaser
All
trailer.
right.
Hold
Go.
on 1 second.
Woohoo!
What if you could go back in time to just the right moment and ensure that Tandy won?
You definitely earned this office.
Thank you. Yes, you're too kind.
Oh, I'm much happier breaking stuff. Life has been a dream.
But what if you went back to the wrong moment?
Gimme that. How do you even know what that was?
Listen, I don't really care about these blueprints. I just want...
Say, who are you? You want to spy for Commodore or something, are you?
Just move!
Oh.
Hey, hold the elevator! Hold the
Stop right there!
Whoa, no need for guns, no need for guns!
So, Mr. Anders, it seems you have stumbled upon my little secret. There is no point in waiting for security. I think you are about to have an accident.
Okay, no!
CoCo Forever?
Can't wait till that comes out.
Spring.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
2018.
Spring-ish. I love that. I think.
I was going to say he might have to move it to summerish.
No, he lives in Canada, so I mean, spring for us is probably goes till August or something.
And that's just another example of some of the projects that are going on and some of the quality work, even in the promotion. That's what Bruce was really good at, having really good promotions for Force of Doom, a lot of video teasers. And, the role-playing game is very much an imagination-based thing, so his videos really got you into the theme of the game and stuff. So a lot of creativity, a lot of innovation. Rick Adams released a new game last year that was available both on a cartridge, which we have new cartridges that we can plug into the CoCo, and you can also get it on a CD-ROM, so you can download a disk image to run on a real computer or an emulator, all kinds of stuff. Mark Overholser just posted the link to that. It's CoCoFOREVER.gracenote.ca is the website where you can learn more about that project. That's Bruce Moore's site. Yeah, a a lot of stuff going on in the color computer community, and so I'm glad we finally got on Roku today to talk about it a little bit. And starting next week, you're going to catch us live every week on YouTube and on Roku, and so it'd be interesting to see how many people end up watching this. I'm assuming Roger will be able to track it, what the view count is on this. It'd be kind of cool to see what the Roku numbers start turning out to be.
Yeah, I was just about to ask what kind of tracking and statistics he's able to get out of that. So
yeah,
Steve, you yourself have done a bunch of reviews of CoCo games, haven't you?
I myself, I have 100, 200 or so. Yeah. I've yeah.
All level 1, but
yeah. So I'm the host of this show. My name is Steve Strobridge, and I started doing YouTube in 2015. Did Minecraft videos, did some retro games, started doing some CoCo games because that was my first computer, and that's kind of what got me discovered by the community. What I found that was really cool, and everybody here in the panel is kind of proof of that. But here I am, now I'm a grown man, at least in age, not maturity. But I'm the guy playing old video games on YouTube, just reliving my childhood. And then what ends up happening is that some of the people who made the games would leave comments on the video. And I was like, whoa, that's the guy who made that game. And he just left me a comment, and my head just exploded. It's like, for me, that's like meeting Mick Jagger or something like that. These when I was a kid, the guys who made the video games, those were my superheroes. Those were my rock stars. And so the fact that they're out there and they left a comment on my video, that was really cool that, everybody's still kind of around, right? That led to a bunch of interview series that Curtis was the first person I interviewed, and Curtis has got an interesting history in the color computer community. He, you want to tell a little mini history there, Curtis? You got 30 seconds.
Well, basically, I was one of the original. Okay, go ahead. Actually, as Ron's showing it, Nitrous 9. I mean, that was something that Wes Gale, Bill Noble, and myself started back in '92, I think it was, which was a port of OS 9 to the 609 processor, which has some added features and speed. And then Alan DeCock joined us later on. We did that from about '92 till about, I think I got out of it around 2001, 2002, because I just had no time to continue it. So we released it as a community-free project, and then Boise and Gene Heskett and Robert Gall and a bunch of others took it over, and then I've gotten back into it the last 3 years. So it's still an ongoing project, 20 years later.
Yeah. Getting some updates and optimizations, and a lot of that came from this show, right? Ease of use, the whole idea. You saw that mock commercial earlier. It was kind of a catchphrase. Was meant to be complete sarcasm because it really wasn't.
It's basically Nick whining, is what.
Yeah. But that kicked off this whole revitalization and making it more approachable. So Curtis did Nitrous 9. Curtis has a website where he has a bunch of reviews on games, information about CoCo games, the CoCo Games List website. I interviewed you. You were my first interviewee.
I think that was on joystick controllers or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, you had an impressive collection of all kinds of controllers, and that just led to a long history of interviews with the authors and legends and movers and shakers. Rick Adams being one of the first ones, a big celebrity interview we got. We booked a big one. So we got Rick Adams was our first, and we've been able to interview a lot of people over the years. It's been really cool to have when we talk about the
thank you, you're too kind.
You are too kind. Yes, you're too
and you're
kind.
too modest, Rick.
Yeah. You're too modest. Yes. Oh my. So it's been an interesting ride, right? I started off playing video games on YouTube. I met all these crazy people, all these and we're CoCo nuts, and we're all over the place. Some of us are veterans and diehard hardware and software gurus. Some of us are just casual enthusiasts like myself that just like to play games and not even play them very well. We're all over the place, and we're all in this together because we love this machine, and we're still trying to keep it alive. It's really cool.
And it's literally worldwide. I mean, we got people from Australia, from Canada, from the United States, from Denmark, from Brazil, from all over the place. So,
yeah, we are global. There's a map. And the map is on the I'm a Coconut website under resources. There's a map. You know what? This is the thing. No, there's Tony Pedraza told me about another website that's got a Coco map where you can actually register yourself and put in where you are. I forgot what it was called, but there's another one out there. There's just so many things that come out of the WordWorks, you know. Oh, Mikey just joined us. Mikey says, just checking in. Couldn't get on today because my Coco and my Denon office is being moved to a different room in the house. I hope you're all having a good show today. Yes, we are, Mikey. So Mikey, another member of our community. Here's Rick's new game in progress that he's working on here. We're getting a little behind the scenes here. This is kind of cool. This is inside the mind of a madman. This is more that actually Simon's the madman, but this is the laboratory. This is where all the magic happens. You want to explain what we're looking at here, Rick? I know on the right-hand side that's a color computer.
Sure. Right, that is the Color Computer 3 on the right. And then that's hooked up with a cable to my development system, which is a Raspberry Pi 3. So I'm working on the source over there and rebuilding the game and testing it out on actual hardware. And that happens real fast.
All right. Well, it sounds like somebody just blew up a sink somewhere. Yeah, so you actually have a real Coco connected to a Raspberry Pi, and you're pushing software over to it from the Raspberry Pi to the real Coco.
Yep.
That is really neat.
And how are you doing that? Finest. It's really great for me, I'll tell you.
How are you doing that?
Let's see, it's the DriveWire cable, I believe.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. DriveWire.
Right.
DriveWire.
Yep.
TTL. ESP.
R232.
R232.
LSMFT.
Right. So you have the CoCo SDC cartridge in your real CoCo 3, so that boots up with the DriveWire software built in, and that's letting you talk via a real serial cable over to your Raspberry Pi.
Right.
And it's running the DriveWire server, which allows you to send disk images across the wire to your CoCo.
And we should say that the CoCo SDC is a awesome piece of hardware.
Yeah, must have.
One of
the.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, and by the way, is that the RGB to SCART box you have in the center there too?
That is.
So that's another new hardware device out right now, right? So the CoCo 3. What is going
Nick,
on?
Mute your mic.
Somebody's got some serious noise going on there.
Yeah, Nick's moving or something.
Okay. So yeah, the CoCo 3's got an RGB output that was designed for a Tandy monitor that are very hard to get now. So a couple of our new vendors now have cables that will connect the RGB to a cable known as SCART, which is a kind of a European standard. It's basically like an analog version of HDMI. It's an RGB signal. So we convert the CoCo RGB to SCART, and then you use an over-the-counter SCART to HDMI adapter, and you can connect it to a modern display. So there are ways to take CoCo 3 and plug it into a brand new HDMI TV with just a cable and a box, and you get stellar, crisp, clean RGB, perfect text on here. So lots of ways.
And artifact and colors too, right?
And yeah, and you can still get your artifact colors. So lots of ways to bring new, add new things to the old machine. Hey, Stuart is here from our Florida Retro Club. How are you, Stu? He just stopped by. Yeah, so that's Rick's game right there, Temple of Rom. So, we're talking to one of the authors of a color computer game here. He's part of our community. He's on our show, and he's still cooking up stuff for the CoCo. So it's really cool. Here's Nick's game, Popstar Pilot. This was the smash hit of the holiday season of 2016, was it, Nick?
Yep, sounds right.
Just around the turn of the thing. So yeah, Nick released a brand new game that he was working on for a while. You want to chat that up for a minute, Rick? Nick, feel free.
Oh, no, it's all right. Keep talking. I'm just playing.
Yeah. He's going to show you what level 2 looks like, Steve. So pay some attention.
Yeah. But this is a great arcade game, smooth scrolling, the whole 9 yards. Nick blogged about this, so we got to hear about the development and some of the choices he made and stuff. And this was kind of cool. Curtis and I got to help him help test this a little bit, so that was kind of another pinch me moment for me, where I'm a guy who grew up playing games, and now I got to test a new game. I've never been a game tester before, so that was kind of exciting. You
grew up playing games?
Yes, I did.
Then why you suck so bad?
He said play, not win.
Yes. Greg's taking a stab at me there. So
he's the level 1 beta tester.
That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of stuff going on. It's hard to catch you guys up in just 20 minutes here, but tune into CoCoTALK on Roku, and by the way, all of our previous episodes you can also see on YouTube. We're on episode 58, so there's been 57 other episodes running anywhere from an hour to sometimes 4 hours in length. It's amazing that we get together on a weekly basis and talk for 2 to 3 hours a week.
Now, are the old episodes going to be available on Roku as well?
I don't know. That's kind of a Roger question. I don't mind if he puts them up there, but I'm not sure if he's going to do that, how that works. But he has my permission to put CoCoTALK back episodes on Roku. But if not, you can get them on... if you just go to our website, CoCoTalk.live, it'll link you to everything. It'll link you to our YouTube channel. We've got a Facebook page. We've got links to our podcast. You can listen. So if you're in the car and you want to listen and you don't want to watch, you can catch up. And we've had it's impossible for me to remember all the great moments. But speaking of which, we've got a couple of best of episodes. So you might want to catch some of those. We've got the best of Volume 1 and Volume 2. Those are also available on DVD that you can get from the swag shop. So all kinds of stuff going on. So
yeah, and we also need to watch a David Ladd. What did he break?
Yeah, David's not here, but we should play a David Ladd clip. This is some inside humor for those of you who are new to the show, but you'll get the running gags eventually. So here we go. What did David Ladd break this week?
ESP 8266-01 RS232 TTL Wi-Fi network 4-pin DIN Fitbanger DB9 PC IP DriveWire
That is so accurate, it's scary.
That's our David Ladd. He's our David, and we love him. Bless his heart.
The author of the 30-volume encyclopedia on floppy disk controllers.
Lord of the floppy. Right. So I did say we wanted to keep this show short today, and we are at about our 2 hours. Hey, look at Nick's on level 2. Look at this is what level 2
Steve's
looks
never
like.
seen this before. So.
No.
I've made it to level 2 many times. I barely can get out of it. And he's going to run out of fuel. He's going to run out of fuel. Can he coast into a fuel canister? Boom. No, he didn't make it. Did he get the checkpoint? Yes, he did. All right, so here's level 2 on Popstar Pilot. Look at this. Looking good. Look how smooth that scrolling is. Hardware-based scrolling. Boom. Hit a balloon. Look out for those balloons, Nick.
Do you want to hear the swearing as well, or just unmute?
I'm used to seeing this screen a lot here. Game over.
That's a splash screen, isn't it? Yes.
That was a pretty bad game.
You look a bit rusty there, Nick.
That's right. I really Steve Strowbridged that one, didn't I?
Wow. I've become a verb.
Anyway.
And David Ladd says, I tell you, people. Well, that's not actually David. It's one of his many personalities, Paco Otakte. Yeah. But yeah, and we're going to wrap it up here in a minute here, but I'm going to go back to the sponsor page, and rather than just reading off just the websites too, we'll spend a minute here explaining like what some of these projects and services are, right? So Brendan Donahe, who's on the call, we mentioned he has this CoCo VGA project, and it's an upgrade to your CoCo 1 and 2 in Dragon. that allows you to connect it to a modern display with lots of extra features. So that's a really cool project, and we've been watching that thing take shape over the years. If you want to learn more about that, there's the link to that. So Richard Lorbieski, who's not with us today, Boyson Technologies, he has got a handful of hardware projects for the CoCo right now, new products. So one of them is a memory upgrade, right? So the CoCo 3 came stock with 128K of RAM, and there was the ability to upgrade it to 512. And up until recently, one of the only places to get 512 RAM from was from a provider called Cloud9, Cloud9 Software, Cloud9 Tech. And they make a board. Well, Richard made a board too that's called the Boomerang, and so now we have people bringing in competition and innovation, right? So we have more than one person making a similar product, and guess what? When companies compete, the consumer wins, right? So innovation goes up and prices go down. So he's got a memory board.
Sound cards, right?
Yeah, sound cards, right? He's got a joystick adapter. So if you want to plug in an Atari joystick or a Sega joystick to the CoCo, he's got an adapter for that, and he also makes an RGB to SCART cable. So Retro Innovations, Jim Brain, who's on the call trolling us right now, he makes lots of new hardware devices for a lot of systems. So he makes stuff for the TI, which is Texas Instruments. He makes stuff for the Commodore 64 and for the CoCo. So he's creating a lot of new products that adds enhancement to old vintage systems. So he's got networking for the Commodore. He's got a flash cartridge for the CoCo. He's working on memory upgrades for the CoCo. He's working on an 8-slot multi-pack interface expansion that could be doubled up to 16 slots. So a lot of cool new hardware. Yeah, a lot of cool new hardware coming from there. This SD pack project, because our newest thing right now is the CoCo SDC. So we don't have to worry about floppy disks anymore, but there's a cartridge that lets you plug in an SD card, which is that little thing that goes in your digital cameras and your smartphones. We can plug in that SD card and we can run software from that. So this guy here, Antonio Jimenez, he came up with a project to make your SD card boot up like a ROM cartridge. So he's got a little website that shows you how to make a self-booting SD card where you can have it plug it in, turn on your computer, and it boots up and turns your CoCo SDC into a ROM cartridge. Very cool little project. It's a do-it-yourself deal. Jason, who was on earlier, who's at Hamvention, he's got his own RGB cable called the Switcheroo. What's cool about his is that it's actually got a switch you can flick on and off, because the RGB can be either RGB or it can be composite. And there's a couple different ways to do it. His uses a switch. So he's got a project which is kind of cool. And as I mentioned before, the CoCo Crew podcast, they've been going on 3 years now, and it's been a great source of inspiration for me, and a great source of information, I should say, for me, is listening to the CoCo Crew. And this is where I feel very informed, where we did kind of mention that there's a few things that were on YouTube and a few podcasts where the people didn't quite have their facts right, and that's okay. But we're kind of lucky where we've got a lot of resources where we can get a lot of good information, and the CoCo Crew has been a great source for that. So they're a monthly podcast. They've got 36 episodes out right now. They've been around for 3 years. So if you want some binge listening, you can listen to the CoCo Crew as well as listen to us. Our show, you can go to CoCoTalk.live. You can watch all the replays of the audio and video versions of our show, as well as reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And if you want to find out more about the color computer, as Grant mentioned earlier, you can go to imacoconet.com. So a lot of catching up to do. If you're new to the CoCo and you're new to watching CoCoTalk on Roku, you got a lot of catching up to do, but you're in good hands. We got a lot of people here who love this machine and would love to bring you into the fold, have you part of the family here. What else is David here saying? You need to improve your Pegasus and the Phantom Rider game skills too. So everybody's just going to dog me for not being good at games now. Okay, that's all right. That's all right.
Well, you were called ogStevieStrow, yeah, or the gamer.
Okay, so Nick Marotta says, I had to check out the Roku feed, but I do like chatting. Yeah, so that's the nice thing about this show is it is live and it is interactive. So you can be part of the show. You can call us on Skype. If anybody who's watching us right now, we'll let anybody on. I mean, look who's on already, right? So anybody can call in and be on the show. Yes, yeah. So anybody can call in and be on the show, and anybody can chat on the show. It's live, it's interactive, and it's every week. What are we looking at here, Ron? That's the After Dark?
CoCoTalk After Dark logo.
Yeah.
It's coming.
How many of us are wearing a CoCo shirt right now, too? We should probably mention that. We've got merchandise. We've got CoCoTALK t-shirts available at our swag shop at 8bit256.com. We have Brendan Donahe. We've got Grant Leighty. We got lots of us wearing CoCo shirts right now. I'm wearing my CoCo shirt, right? So, yeah, we are like a legitimate thing, right? We actually look like we know what the hell we're doing, even though it doesn't come across that way, right? So, yeah. Oh, yeah, so David or Paco or Drenkor, say hi to Roku. You're on Roku right now. So say hi to CoCo TV on Roku. We're live. Yeah, so Tim Franklin, is the After Dark going to be on Roku? It could be. It's not a CoCo project, but it could be. We could do that. But I think, well, I think technologically there's nothing preventing it from happening. However, I believe with Roger's channel agreement with Roku, it needs to be completely family friendly, and sometimes on After Dark we don't always hold back our language. So that might be the only limiting factor there is the censoring of it. But yeah, it could be. It could be on there.
No rage quitting.
Yeah. But yeah, I do want to wrap this show up this week only because, you know, I mentioned at the top of the show I have some other obligations. I'm still a little under the weather. So this is a short show for us today. We've only been on the air about 2 hours and 15 minutes. Next week we'll catch up for lost time. So I'm going to go around the room and let you guys just, if any final parting thoughts, words of wisdom, anything you want to say to the folks both on
There's
YouTube.
that next level of Popstar that Nick's
Oh man, this is level 3 with the rising ocean. Wow. Yes, I think I made it here once or twice. I die like right away when I get to the water phase. It's so neat though. There's so much stuff going on, and Nick makes it look so easy. But you know, he made the game too. So, look at that, level 3. Go Nick. Look at that.
Yeah, we still need to do our Temple of Rom marathon too sometime.
Yeah. We've done some marathons. We've done some live marathons. Get some fuel there. Very good job. Yeah, we've done a lot of cool stuff. There's so much. If you're new to this, there's so much to catch up on. We've done some gaming marathons. So yeah, the YouTube channel where you can see a lot of other CoCo content is youtube.imacoconet.com. That's the easy to remember link to that.
Should we mention our love affair for the MC10?
We should. It's in the family. There's CoCoTALK After Dark being rendered on a CoCo. So that looks pretty cool. You've retrofied our retro picture.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And level 4 for Popstar.
Oh, wow. Ooh, look at these. The pipes and stuff. Man, I've never made it to this level.
Dang.
Nick's on a roll. Nick is on a roll. I've tried doing it. I've been trying this with my Sega Atari adapter, and I don't have. As I'm turning out, I think almost all of my Atari style joysticks are wonky in some way or another.
Had a chance to unmute, guys.
Yeah, looks good there, Nick.
I'm trying to get through to level 5,
which nobody. Well, I haven't seen. I guess Curtis has seen it, right?
Yep.
I don't think too many people.
You can actually win the game too, which is a rare thing for an arcade game.
That's what I'm trying to do. This will be bum. Who wrote this damn stupid?
Now Nick will impress me. We can do it with a Black Beauty. That's what'll impress me.
If Nick can't get there, nobody can.
I haven't played this in a while, so I'm a bit damn rusty.
Yeah, you forget where things are and what the best paths are.
Have you got enough tokens to unlock level 5?
I don't know, but I'm trying to collect as many as I can now.
I think that was actually one of my suggestions, right? Was to have a bonus round. So you guys can thank me for level 5. Nick had nothing to do with it.
Damn it. This is the thing, you get so close.
Yeah,
that's why the bonus round is so challenging. Sorry to hold up the show, guys. It's just got me hooked now.
Yeah, well, you're almost there. We're on the edge of our seat here. We're gonna sit here and ride this out with you.
All right, I've only got one life left, so here we go.
No pressure, Nick, but you're showing everybody on Roku and YouTube, so
yeah,
sweating already.
The whole world is on the edge of this. This has got more viewers than the royal wedding right now. Screw those Brits.
All right. Concentrate. Use the force.
Stay on target.
Stay on target.
CoCoTALK After Dark.
Yes, yes.
Made it. Yep.
Made it. Okay, folks, this is it. Oh
no, you didn't get to it.
Oh,
What the hell just happened there?
You didn't have enough tokens to get level 5.
Oh, not enough tokens.
No.
Missed it by 1.
Well, I didn't think I was going to even make it this far, so I didn't concentrate on tokens. I thought, what the hell, Everyone will go to be asleep by the time I get to this point, but I made it.
You did.
Okay, want to watch it again? No.
Everything's under control. Situation
okay.
normal.
Yep.
Yeah. Bad feeling about this.
I've got to wait.
I'm trying to find my stay on target.
Stay on target.
Okay. Yep.
There you go. There's my soundbite.
Can be done.
Hey, CoCoMAN came in just in time for us to wrap up the show. How are you, CoCoMAN?
What's the topic?
Hamvention. So CoCoMAN is our correspondent. Where is Hamvention at, Jason?
Hamvention is in Xenia, Ohio. That's near Dayton, Ohio. I guess is the closest place there. It's at the Greene County Fairgrounds.
Okay.
And I did bring some stuff back.
Nice. Let's see what the spoils.
Well, these are going to be going to Mark. I picked them up for Mark, but I picked up the Mark Overholser. I picked up the Getting Started with Extended Color Basic.
Mark's happy about that.
Yeah, and
I have CoCos without manuals.
And then we've got the Color Computer Disk System.
Yep, don't have that one.
And then we got the big Mamma Jamma here.
Nice.
And that's not even the CoCo 2 one. Yeah. That's the full
No, I did get one that looked like this with my CoCo 2, but I had an early, melded keyboard American CoCo 2.
Yeah, they kind of merged the two manuals together later, which is that Getting Started with Extended Basic. So
yeah,
I have a CoCo 1 with no manual too, so I think I have a match now.
Yeah. And there's two versions of that manual. That one looks to be the thick one that actually has section 4 on machine language and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
There's an original one when the CoCo 1 first came out. They didn't have time to finish the manual, so they gave you one that just had the first chunk.
It was like a half a manual.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's neat.
Cool.
So Jason was showing us some of the stuff that was on the table. Mark said, "Hey, I'd like to get those books," and so that's the community in action right there, right? So
thank you, Jason. I have machines without manuals, so
wonderful. I'm glad I can help. I'm glad we were on Skype pre-show, and I just started showing some of the stuff at this one particular booth at the Hamvention in the flea market.
Yeah.
And you guys on Skype spotted these. I didn't even see these. I said I hadn't seen a single CoCo thing the whole time I've been here. And you're like, what about that? What about that? What about the, found those 3 manuals? So that's great. Good eyes, guys.
Yeah.
And I'll be taking I'll have some family stuff next weekend, but weekend after next I'll be taking the show on the road to CorgsCon in Columbus, Ohio. That's the Columbus, Ohio Retro Gaming Society's show on 2 Saturdays from now.
Excellent. So we'll have some more remote correspondence for our roving reporter, Jason the CoCoMAN. Excellent. Have you been reimbursed for all your trips and mileage and everything? Is accounting taking care of you?
Yeah, we're good. I think I got a division by 0 error.
Hey, we got podcast money here. There's no expense is too big here, so
no expense is too big not to pay.
No expense is too big to pay as long as it's free.
Yes.
And I like Jim's comment in the chat right now too.
Okay, yeah, and actually we're it's gonna be even better than Jim's expecting because I'm not rolling any closing credits. We're all gonna sign off here, and that's gonna be the end of the show. So, yeah, no, keeping it short. So
not even the towel thing at the end.
No. That's things are being redesigned, and I just don't have time to do that. So another one of Nick's games, Pac-Man's up there on the screen. Mark Overholser, anything you want to say as we close out our episode?
Yeah. One thing, my friend Mateo, he's working on a project. You can see it posted on the TRS-80 Color Computer group on Facebook. It's his Beepify arcade cabinet. It's got a few songs in it, and I think he's working on some games too. Anyway.
Oh, cool. There you go. Matteo in Italy. Nice guy. Yeah. Brendan Donahe, anything you want to say to play us out and just wrap up the show? Parting thoughts?
Got nothing. Play with your Cocos.
The dragon's fully working?
Yeah, that dragon is working, yeah. Mine isn't, but that's okay. That's another problem.
Hey, you got some spare parts to pull from now.
Yeah, right.
Blame it on the postman. So, Ron Delvaux, are you happy that we're on Roku, Ron?
Yeah, it's really awesome. Not only that, but you guys are all missing Steve Bjork. When he's on, he has a lot of neat things to talk about, and he's an interesting guy to hear.
Yep. Another one of our veteran members of the community, living legend.
Yep.
I haven't heard too much from Steve this week, but he's been very active in our community. He's been on our show quite a bit, and we're delighted to have him. Good point there. Yep. And I know you've been a big fan of the CoCo TV on Roku, and now you're gonna make me run out and buy a Roku now. So
it's cool.
It is. It just to watch this crappy show on another way. You know, it's like I already watch it and I already listened to it. Now let me watch it again on Roku. Just
good stuff.
Just because, yeah. Curtis Boyle.
Well, one thing I'd mention on the Roku, you can actually use the Roku to watch us live on your big screen TV, but then you can use like a tablet or a phone or a laptop or whatever to actually just monitor the chat on YouTube. You can actually do both. You don't have to
watch us on. There you go. Watch us on Roku and then chat on a mobile device or something.
And we won't take away from the screen. You'll be able to watch the full show without having to cut it off with windows over top of each other. So
that's a good idea. Good idea. Cool. And James Diffendaffer, anything you want to say as we wrap up this show?
Well, if I get my problem worked out, I should post a video comparing the 6803 and 6303 in speed.
And
I can post that and reply to the video when it goes up on YouTube.
All right, sounds good. We look forward to that. Paul Thayer, anything you want to say before we wrap this show up?
No, I got nothing. I'm working on projects while I listen to you knuckleheads. So.
All right, sounds good. What about
you? You're too honest for your own good.
Yeah,
that's right.
The machine that I did my demo of the internet on, it's a Telnet, was a 6309 CoCo, by the way.
Okay. Which is another project to upgrade the CPU in a CoCo 3, get some more performance out of it. Rick Adams, anything you'd like to play us out on?
Nothing. Just if you want to learn assembly, there's lots of people that'll help you. So let us know.
All right, sounds good.
Especially on Discord, which Steve should go into a little bit.
No, yeah, we'll do that in just a second. Grant Leighty, Mr. Question of the Week. Anything you want to close us out on?
Yeah, nothing much here. Just everybody have a good week, and I will be back to hopefully my normal self by next weekend. And one question: next weekend's Memorial Day. Are we still doing the same time, same place?
I don't see why not, unless something other happens. If that happens, we'll communicate. And so that's a good point. So especially
there'll be a lot of people at home sitting in front of their Roku.
Yeah, Memorial Day. So
or they'll be on the lake.
Right. So on our website, CoCoTalk.live, there is a calendar. And so if the time of the show is going to change, it'll be on that calendar. So if you go to CoCoTalk.live, click on calendar, you'll see any updates there. We also, when the show is going to go live, I create an event on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, like CoCoTalk's page on there, and you'll see the event time, and we publish the event when we're going to be live, and we publish the links and all that kind of stuff there too. So CoCoTalk.live or Facebook is another way to find out when the shows are going to be live. Nick Marentes, Nick Marionettes, anything you want to say to the world before we wrap up this episode?
Not really. Thanks for watching on Roku. Next time I'll try to get through to level 5.
Sounds good. And Jason the CoCoMAN turned himself upside down in honor of
that's
being
better.
in Australia. Right?
I can turn my monitor back up the right way.
And
there you go, it's upside down again.
Jason the CoCoMAN, our correspondent.
Correspondent, yes. It will be at CorgsCon in Columbus in 2 weeks, and I'm just here with the photo of the lovely Dayton skyline here.
Nice.
You ought to explain what that event's going to be in 2 weeks in Columbus.
It's the Columbus, Ohio Retro Gaming Society. So it's going to be a retro gaming show.
Now,
I've never been to.
Does that cover personal computers? Do you know too, or just the gaming systems?
Good question. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of going to go. I wish I had their website handy. I'd give out the website here real quick, but I don't. Corgs. CorgsCon. Yeah, corgs-con.webs.com. Appears to be.
That's a mouthful.
Sounds
Star Trek-ish.
It really does. But
it sounds like David talking is what it sounds like.
DriveWire.
Yeah.
ESP. Yeah. So that'll be in 2 weeks. It's just a one-day event. It's just a Saturday event. So I'm going to go check it out and see what it's all about. And I think Neil from the CoCo crew made a mention that he may show up at that. So
okay, that'd be cool.
So maybe I'll see him there. It's not a CoCo project, but it could be.
Excellent. All right, well, we're going to wrap up episode 58. We are live on CoCo TV on Roku, so I want to thank Ron Delvaux for really wanting to make this happen. I want to thank Roger Taylor for finding a way to make it happen and for getting us the ability to cross the streams. And hopefully next week it'll be a little smoother, and hopefully next week we're going to simulcast from the get-go. 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the plan, even though it's a holiday. If that changes, we'll post it on Facebook. We'll post it on the calendar on CoCoTalk.live. I have been your host for this train wreck. I am the original gamer, CoCoStevieStrow, and that's it. We're out of here. You guys good?
Yeah, I just mentioned it's a holiday in Canada this weekend, so actually we don't have a long weekend next weekend. That's this weekend. So, well, us Canucks will definitely be ready for the show.
Okay,
it's a metric holiday weekend.
Yeah, 1.2 holidays. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. All right, well, goodbye, CoCo TV. Goodbye, Roku. We are signing off of Roku right now in 3, 2, 1. All right, we're off of Roku, and we're now signing off of YouTube. Goodbye, YouTube, in 3, 2, 1.